Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Jets Radio. This is one of your hosts, Tyson Roush, and we made it. We've made it to draft week. Thank God we're finally here. It seems like we've been talking about the draft since October, which I think we actually were, but we're here. So a lot to go on tonight. We're going to talk about just predictions, get everybody's predictions. You know, listen, a lot of rumors, a lot of smoke screens, Joe Douglas press conference, all kinds of stuff. So let me introduce the man of the people, Long Beach Joe. What's up, man?
What's going on, Ty? Man, like you said, here we are. We're back. We're finally getting ready to do this draft again for another year. You know, I'm really hyped. I'm hoping we get this right. I got a lot of faith in Joe Douglas. Man, this is really going to set the table for us. We got a lot of things we need to fix. So listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote our Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook. Search Let's Talk Jets Radio. Like that page. Our content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message us. We'll message you right back. We love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave some feedback. We love hearing about what you folks think we do here on Let's Talk Jets Radio. So without further ado, Ty, let's go ahead and get into the show, man. I'm fired up.
Yeah, I'm fired up. We're going to do our best to get as many callers on as we can tonight, get predictions. So we're not going to have a lot of long calls. We want to do a lot of calls. But as always, we're on Instagram and Twitter at Talk Jets Radio. We're on YouTube, Let's Talk Jets Radio. Check out our YouTube channel. We're trying to do a lot of new things with Zoom. We did last week. Kevin and I did one with some different people like Jay and Panda, things like that. We're trying to change things up on our YouTube channel, so check that out. We want to thank Jeff Lloyd for joining us last week. Got a lot of feedback on that. I actually interviewed Connor Rogers on Saturday. That's on there as well. So we got a lot of draft coverage on there, so check it out. We appreciate all the support, the listens. We hope everybody's staying safe. We hope everybody's staying social distancing and healthy and everything else. And, Joe, I guess before we go into all this draft talk and smoke screens, the Jamal Adams saga continues, which is no surprise at all. I mean, at this point, we kind of predicted all of this. And now Joe Douglas has come out and said, listen, you know, we want to make him a Jet for life, but if somebody calls, we'll listen to it. You know, Jamal's not going to go to voluntary workouts. Is there a chance something happens before the draft?
I mean, yeah, there's always a chance. Everyone knows where I stand. I would like to see him traded if we can possibly get a solid package back. But there's a chance. There's a chance he could be traded on draft day. I'm not a person that really is bothered by the involuntary, you know, workout stuff. You know, if he skips that, he skips that. You know, it's voluntary. It's not a big deal. But that's the exact same thing when Le'Veon Bell was skipping, you know. But for me, what's interesting about it is the fact that it leaks now. You know, the fact that it's out now before the draft kind of weirds me out a little bit as far as, like, you know, just the timing of how this news, you know, met the media. So there could be a movement made. There could definitely be a trade made. I'm just, like I said, I just would like to see us get a solid package back if we're going to move on from it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of posturing going on right now. I think the Jets are making it clear if you want to get Jamal Adams, you got to blow them away with the package, or they're not going to trade him, which is fine. I mean, that's business. If if he's a rising star, and you want to get a ransom for him, you know, good for you and go for it. So that's one story that you keep an eye on. The other story, which is heating up, obviously, is the Trent Williams saga, where now the Redskins are on the clock. They can hold out all they want. They can demand the first rounder or second rounder. You can demand them wherever you want. But now that the draft is here, dude, they need to get something for him. Because honestly, I can't see them going through this draft without trading him. Because then they're really screwing the pooch. You have a guy in your roster you know that doesn't want to be there. And if you don't trade him, what are you going to do? Like, you don't want picks next year, you want them this year. So can you see Trent Williams, not saying to the Jets, but can you see Trent Williams going to the Browns or anywhere by the time the draft starts moving on?
Yeah, absolutely. I could definitely see teams starting to make a move from him because, like you said, you were alluding to, I think that price is going to come down. You know, they had a little car sitting outside on that driveway. Hey, I want this much money, I want that much money, and then that car's just sitting there collecting rust. Eventually, you're going to say, you know what, just give me this. You know, just I'll lower my price down a little bit, couple $100. Just give me that, and I'll move forward. Listen. Trent is a great player. He's a very solid offensive lineman, one of the better offensive linemen in the league. But from, you know, all accounts of what they were demanding, a lot of teams were looking at them like, hey, you guys are crazy. Like, we're not willing to give up that much, especially when the leverage is not on your side because, not only has a guy told you internally he will not play for you, this guy said in the media. Not only him, but his agent as well. I mean, they've been very open and honest about why they don't want to play for you and the fact that they will never play for you. Tell them, I will never put that uniform on again. So, I could definitely see him being moved, if not to the Jets, to another team that is looking to, get his services and get a left tackle in there that's going to shore up that spot for them. But the Redskins, they got to be smart, man, because let me tell you something. You want some picks this year, you better make this deal as soon as possible.
Yeah, there's a couple teams like that. You have the Trent Williams saga, which I think something goes down, and it could happen, say, in the second round. After the first round is over, or even say halfway through the first round, and there's a run on offensive tackles, a team that didn't get the guy they want or doesn't want to reach, say, you know what, okay, our guy is gone, now we pull the trigger on a trade. So I wouldn't be surprised if all Trent Williams goes. The other one is in Jacksonville, where Yannick and the ownership, they're having a tweet fest over there, just insulting each other. So you have a young pass rusher there where he's making it clear that he's not coming back. He's on Twitter just lighting fires like crazy. So if you're the Jaguars, they're in the same boat where the Jaguars can play hardball with him, but the fact of the matter is he's not coming back. He doesn't want to be there. And now they're in a tough spot, too, where he could be a draft day trade as well.
Yeah, he definitely could. I've seen the tweets. I mean, wow. He said what he's got to say, and he is not holding back at all. There's another team, that is definitely going to be on the line. He's made it very clear that he does not want to be there. And look, Jags, get it done. I'm ready to move on. I don't want to be here, So we'll see what he goes for. But for me, he's, especially being as young as he is, and he's a talented guy. He's a pass rusher. We all talk about him. It'd be interesting to see what type of value that they still get for him, especially, again, due to the fact that he's screaming about not playing there. But I definitely think there's going to be a lot of teams looking at him as well, making a move for him.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things are going to happen, right before the draft or during the draft with some of these players. And then obviously once the draft is over, a lot of willing and dealing are going to happen because teams that you don't get the guy that you want, then you go to free agency. And even Joe Douglas said that. He expects the free agent market to be fast and furious once the draft is over because if you don't fill a hole, you have guys on the line, you can say, hey, listen, we didn't get a pass rusher, we want Marcus Golden, we want Vinny Curry, we want Jason Peters, we want Kelvin Beachum, whoever you want. There's going to be a lot of moves right after the draft is over, too.
Yeah, I know a lot of, like you said, the names that you brought up right there. A lot of teams are definitely going to go after him because this draft is going to be crazy. Again, with all the complications as well, some teams could slip up, a mistake could be made, and they can go, man, we missed out on the guy because of, so on and so forth. But hey, we can go still attack that hole with a free agency and kind of fill it there. So. There's definitely going to be some free agents that are going to get their names called after this draft due to the fact that the team may not have been able to get the guy that they wanted.
Yeah, and this is, we talked about, like I said, it seems like we've been talking about this since like October because our team was so terrible last year. So we've analyzed the draft up and down and backwards. There's all kinds of smoke screens. I mean, Joe Douglas did his media tour the last couple of days, and, you can't, it's so... To me, it's foolish to read into anything he's saying because he's not going to give away his hand. Like, he's not going to tell you what he's doing. He's not going to tell you his mindset. And it's like, oh, well, he said this and he said that. And I'm like, yeah, we haven't, like, any general manager worked his weight in salt. It's like anything. He's just not going to give away anything. It's his first draft. We're all excited. And, now it's just a matter of, the thing I hate the most about this time is when the media starts leaking, like, injury stuff. I think that's just so, like, I don't know. It just seems wrong. Like the whole Jerry Jeudy thing now, where there's a couple reporters out of Philadelphia saying he's got knee problems, and dude, to me that's just Bush League stuff, and that's the only thing. Like, I don't like that kind of stuff. Like, the rumors about, I don't know. I just for some reason that just bothers me when they like 2 days before the draft. This kid's been through physicals, the combine, all sorts of stuff, and now the Tuesday before the draft, now he's got knee issues. I don't know, man. That just seems sketchy to me.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from because these young kids have worked, most of them, all their lives, if not all of them, pretty much all their lives to get to this point, and they're already being nitpicked. I mean, to the nth degree. I mean, they're picking apart everything. You know, why didn't you go to class? You know, why did you mix that one class 6 periods in junior year of high school? You know, they're going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. Anything that could be found out about you, you know, they're going to find out about you. Like, I understand why you're saying you don't want those injuries brought up, because it could dramatically drop a kid's stock. You know, and sometimes those injury reports aren't even right. You know, sometimes they're blown a little bit more out of proportion. And you know, a guy's got a knee problem when he really doesn't have a knee problem. He just tweaked his knee freshman year in college, but he was able to, you know, move on from it. It was fine. You know, so you know those things can happen. But if there are significant injuries, if there anything, you know, any kind of real injury concerns, the teams already are going to know. They're going to know because there's physicals done. There's doctors that are going to be checking them out. So. But I get where you're coming from. But again, the teams are going to know what's up. I'm really interested to see how Joe Douglas handles this draft, man. To me, this is going to be his stamp on this franchise. We talked about it in the past with Maccagnan. Horrific drafting. Idzik, horrific drafting. You know, we've talked about our multiple GMs in the past that we're not able to get the job done in the draft, and that's why we continued this trend of being such a bad football team. Here's where Joe Douglas gets to put his hand and his imprint on this franchise and take us in a different direction. We've got the biggest part. We got the franchise quarterback. What are you going to do to surround him with talent to make sure that he's able to move forward? Not just him, you know, himself, but push us forward as well as the franchise and get us into competing. We've been waiting, 10 years since we've been to the playoffs? I mean, my God. Like, we haven't won a Super Bowl since, the 60s? I mean, come on, man. We've got to take the next step forward. We've got to turn that corner at some point. We cannot keep wallowing at the bottom of the league. I'm done with that, dude. I'm really done with that, and I'm hoping that Joe Douglas is ready to help us move forward, man, to get us to where we need to be.
All right, well, here's your first question if you're Joe Douglas. He talked about character, integrity, team guys, all this stuff. Yeah. Lo and behold, Becton from Louisville, the stud tackle, failed the drug test in the combine, dude. And, before we even go into the failed drug test, dude, everybody makes bad decisions in life. I made a million of them. We all make them. But dude, if your NFL career is on the line, and the one thing you got to do is not fail a drug test at the combine, that's your only responsibility, dude. It's impossible to not question your mindset. Like, what are you doing, dude? And I understand Larry Tunsil and all those other things, but what do you think that the impact of this failed drug test is on Becton? Do you think the Jets move him down? What? Could he drop? How does that work?
Yeah, you know what? I've heard certain people say that they don't believe that this will impact him, but that was going to be something I was going to ask the callers tonight as well, because, look, I understand he's only failed one drug test, but like you just said, and I just said a second ago as well, when you have kids that have been working their whole lives to get to this point, this is probably one of the biggest nights of your entire life. This is one of the most biggest processes of your entire life as well. This could be life-changing for you, literally, not just getting to the next league, but all that comes with it as well, the fame, the money, the opportunity to really raise your lifestyle with the cash flow that can come in. You could really change the trajectory of not just your life, your family's life as well. And so when you have something like a drug test and you fail it, that says something. You know, that says something that you couldn't, put that one thing, whatever you failed it for, you couldn't put that off, to wait when you knew for a fact that you would be scrutinized to the gills. They test these guys for everything. I'm talking everything. We've seen the medical reports. There's medical reports flying around on social media right now. So they're testing you for everything. And it's like, it says something when you can't put whatever it is down so that you can move to the next step. So I think it will touch his stock a little bit. We saw it hit Laramie Tunsil. I mean, he had one hell of a night. that was about as bad. I don't want to bring it up, but I mean, whoa! I remember that night like it was yesterday, and I'm talking about pictures. There was video. There was all kinds of crazy stuff, and I remember he was sliding down that board like crazy. I was, it was nuts. But you're starting to wonder, like, okay, well, what's going on with this guy? Can he, if he can't put it down right now, will he be able to put it down if we take him in the draft? You have those questions start to play in your head. And if you have those type of questions about guys, because we've talked about this as well, often, you know, a lot of guys will bust out not because of talent, but because of attitude. A lot of guys either, you know, can't keep themselves straight, so then the off-the-field stuff takes them away. You know, we talked about drug tests as well. And so you start to wonder, and I don't know if you want to take a guy in the first round that you have to wonder so much about, especially in the position that some of these teams are in. Hell, we're in that position. You bust out a first round, particularly a tackle. Let me tell you something. You bust out an offensive lineman as a Jet, a guy that cannot come in here and get it done, dude, that might set our franchise back for maybe 4 to 5 years. I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
No, you're right,
I'm not being overcritical. Right. I'm serious. Like, if you get this guy in here and he can't either stay on the field because of, you know, the issues or whatever he popped in that drug test for, then we're as good as done. And that's for other teams as well. So it starts to make you wonder if that's the guy that you want to take. So you might have to turn and maybe go with the second guy on your board, you know, that you value under whatever, you know, Becton, if he's the top guy on the board. So it makes you wonder a little bit, but we'll see, man.
Yeah, it's a fascinating scenario because it's like you can already see if the Jets do take him, they'll be scrutinized, be like, oh, Jets are so desperate they took a guy with a potential drug issue. Or if the Jets pass on, they're like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. Like, it's a fascinating situation. And then it's like at this point, you got to hope that the Jets and that front office, which is, you know, a highly touted group at this point, did their due diligence and they did background checks and know what they want and know what they're getting into, because there are many scenarios where he could be the fourth guy. He could be the guy sitting there for you. So it's like the other three are gone, especially because of this failed drug test, and he's the fourth guy. And now you're sitting there like, what do you do? And it's fascinating, dude. It's an interesting situation. Now, one I didn't think was going to happen, but now it's like, you know, it's crazy. And the other thing, too, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's just so crazy. Like, I want, like, you imagine being his agent, being like, dude, what are you doing? You had one responsibility, two responsibilities. Yeah. Stay in shape, prepare for the combine, and pass drug test. That's it. Like, it's just like, I mean, so, you know, it's just wild.
It just, you know, makes you wonder, like you said, I know he was, and I've read all the reports, I know he was very honest and open with teams that, you know, contacted him about the failed drug test and what exactly is going on. So, you know, that's that there, you know, he definitely stayed, you know, honest and open with those people. But like you said as well, if you're an agent, you're just wondering, like, come on, what's going on? Like, why now? Why would you do this right before the combine and get this test? But again, he hasn't, from, you know, everything I read as well about it, he hasn't failed a test up until this one. All throughout college, he was clean, you know, all throughout these other things. So, you know, maybe this, again.
It makes you wonder, though. It makes you wonder, Joe, if his weight is an issue, is he taking something to control his weight? Like, what is it that he's doing to alter his body to get into shape or do something? And then it's like you add it, like, and that's one thing, like, I'm not going to try to exaggerate anything, but what you said is exactly right. Like, the Jets are in a position where that first-round pick, if it's an offensive lineman, can't be a miss. It just can't be, because you have to have it where it's like, all right, what happened? We lost everybody? Am I on here right now? I don't know what just happened. We just lost all our callers, but you can't be a miss. It's got to be a guy that makes it. Everybody, you know, and it's just, you can't have Sam running for his life. You can't have all these things. So I'm not really sure what happened to our show just now. Looks like we got dropped off. The calls got wiped out. So Joe's back.
Yeah.
Joe, you back? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
My whole screen went blank and everybody got wiped out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I guess Blog Talk, they're excited for the draft as well. Man, slow down, Blog Talk. We here. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry. Everything's good. We're going to get your call as well. You know, but we got to talk about all the stuff that's going on in the draft. Calm down a little bit, Blog Talk. Slow down.
Maybe it's the storms in here. But what I was trying to say was, you know, like you said earlier, is the Jets are in a position where they can't miss. Like, this offensive line has got to be a contributor. And it's just like, it's got to be like a building block. This can't be a guy we look at next year and be like, oh, man, he's not going to work out. And now we just wasted a first-round pick on a guy. And then we have another hole. Then you have a year of Sam running for his life. You can't run your offense. Like, the trickle down of missing on this pick is significant. So, you know, that's where if you have concerns about Becton, now with this or whatever else, do you say, hey, you know what, we have to go a different direction? You know, if he's a fourth one available, which I think is starting to feel like that a little bit, all right, we have some concerns. Do we say, hey, you know what, do we trade back, which we weren't considering before? do we take a receiver and try to trade for Trent Williams? Like, it could change the Jets' entire draft philosophy, dude. It really could.
Yeah. It absolutely could. And I'm not saying that the Jets do, but if they do have those type of questions where you start to worry about his character, you start to worry about, if this guy is the guy, then maybe you don't take him. Maybe you do take that wide receiver, and like you said as well, you can go and get yourself a Trent Williams. Maybe you make it, instead of, not even trade for Trent Williams, but maybe you take a tackle in a second. If you want, because you're just like, okay, well, if he's the last guy on the board, well, I'm not going to take a tackle in first. I don't want to trade down because I don't want to pass up on whatever game-changing wide receiver is going to be there. I'll just take a tackle in a second. So it could change our draft board altogether. Man, there's a lot of moving parts. Like I said, I don't know. I've read a lot of stuff. I've talked to a lot of people that said they don't think it'll affect them. But I have to think, well, what we've seen in the past as well, drug tests, they definitely affect the player's slide. I've seen players slide because of it, multiple players, in multiple drafts. So we'll see what happens, man.
All right, so 929-477-2651. We got a ton of people on hold. Like I said earlier, we're not going to keep the calls too long. We want to get everybody on to get their predictions. And just go from there. So we're going to go to Dan in Howard Beach and kick us off. Dan, what is up, man?
Hey, gentlemen, what's up?
We made it, dude. Draft week is here.
Oh, my God, man. I am stoked, man. I cannot wait for this, man. I mean, a week from now, this could be a complete facelift of this whole entire roster. I mean, again, the trust begins right now from Jet fans to Joe Douglas. It starts right now. On Thursday, let's see what kind of team he's going to start assembling. And to me, I've said it the whole entire offseason, it's O-line, O-line, O-line. You got to get an offensive tackle at 11. I want playmakers. But I think the blueprint, actually the Jets stumbled upon the blueprint in the 2000s. In 2006 to 2008, they had the blueprint of, let's build from the inside out. Let's start getting DeBrickashaw. Let's draft Mangold, and then as it went on, we got Damian Woody, we got Faneca, and then the playmakers came in. They started building, getting the Thomas Jones, the Braylon Edwards, the Santonio Holmes. I think you have to build offensive line first.
But Dan, I think at this point we all agree about this. We've been talking about this for months. Like, offensive line's a priority. Protect Sam. But now we're here, and now it's draft day, and now we have a question with a prospect who could be the fourth one available, who could be the only one available in the first round to us, fail the drug test. So how do you handle that?
Yeah,
if Becton is the guy there at 11. Then what do you do with that then?
Man, I have to be honest. That's when I call Atlanta, or wait for teams to call me at 11 if there's someone that they actually like. But if Becton is like Joe, like you said, if it raises a lot of red flags, don't do it. Don't do that. So what I would do at that point, if Becton is the only one there, and not for nothing, Jedrick Willis, the jury's out on him. Let me tell you why. The guy's a right tackle. He protected Tua's blind side. He's a lefty. So now Jedrick has to go into a franchise, top 15 pick, and he has to make the transition to be a left tackle. That's not easy. Look at Eric Flowers. Look how that friggin' went through. Personally, if the guy from Louisville is there at 11, I would go with a wide receiver. I would go with the best wide receiver there, or trade back, and then get Cleveland, that I think is a left tackle or whatnot. I mean, this is a loaded offensive line draft. It fits perfectly to us. I mean, I don't want to trade up, but we don't know. We don't know what Joe Douglas's plan is. I mean, this whole entire thing, we could get out of the draft filling a lot of our holes. I mean, offensive line, wide receiver, even defense, even a freaking pass rusher. It could even get to that point that you can just drop down. You drop down. Think of this. I think I posted this today on Twitter. Let's say we trade with Atlanta or whatnot, and we get what is his name? Clavion Chison, the outside linebacker. We get him. And in the second round, we could get like a Cleveland. And in the third round, we could get Pittman. And I know, Joe, you're high on Pittman, right?
Yeah, dude, first off, I want to thank you for calling in. I'm very high on Pittman, but I don't know if he'll be there in the third round. I don't. I think Mike is going to go in the second, to be absolutely honest with you. And look, I'm going to get to what you were talking about in the first round. I like your take as well. I understand, maybe wanting to trade back a little bit if you're that concerned about Becton. But for me, and I know a lot of people have said this, these guys are right tackle. A lot of these guys are just going to be, good right tackles. I don't think that we can pass up a right tackle either. Are we short up on our right tackle spot? I don't think so.
Nope.
I understand that people have focused a lot on left tackle. I have as well. That's why I've talked about Andrew Thomas and Najim. That's the dude I want at 11. I'm telling y'all right now. But if there is a guy that is sitting there that can come in and be a solid right tackle, I don't think that we can shy away from taking that either. Right tackles are extremely important.
I would, man.
Yeah.
Left tackle is worth way more than a right tackle. I mean, Sam can see someone coming. Sam can see someone coming on the right side. Sam can see someone coming on the right side, and he can do something. He can't see what's going on his blind side.
So let me get this right. It's okay to have a guy come in free because Sam can see him. Even though it's going to throw off the timing of the play, even though he's going to be running for his life, even though he's still going to get smacked, he can see him, so everything's good. That's not a good option either. He shouldn't have to.
No, hold on. You're going against a fumble or a sack. No. I'd prefer a sack.
I don't prefer any of that. You know what I prefer? A completion. I prefer some yards after a catch. I prefer a touchdown. He needs to be protected at all costs. I don't want to have to worry about him having to think about, I got to look over there and make sure this guy's not going to crush me because we ain't got a right tackle. We got a turnstile at right tackle. So I wouldn't be against, everyone keeps saying that. I don't understand it. We shouldn't be against taking a guy that's going to come in and be a very good right tackle or a franchise right tackle. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not in the first round. Not in the first round. No way. You go left guard. You go left tackle. You don't go right tackle unless you're Steve Young or you're protecting Tua. You don't go right tackle, man. I'm sorry.
You bring him in at right tackle and bring him over to the left. You can get him in right tackle, get him in there, and then move him to the left next year, and you have it's a transition.
Do you really want to do that? Do you really want to do that?
All over the place. Yes. Keep moving blocks.
You do know. Listen, you do know that they literally move pass rushers. Exactly, Tyson. They literally move pass rushers all the time. It's not like really good defensive coordinator. Hell, even basic defensive coordinators in the league move a pass rush around. Khalil Mack doesn't come from the same side every play on every defensive set. They move him around all the time. They do. And
you get a tight end. You get a tight end to help out the right side, the left side. But if you're going to get someone in the first round, you need a franchise left tackle.
Well, again, but if people feel like a lot of these guys are
only Andrew Thomas,
what is wrong with being a franchise right tackle? It's not like something worse, dude. This is crazy.
Is Sam going to start throwing it with his left hand?
Oh my God.
Listen, no way, man. Joe, you're off on this one. No way.
No,
you're in the first. No way. You go for a left tackle. A blindside hit can throw someone completely off an injured reserve. Are we on the same wavelength? No way.
Dan, but hold on. But Andrew Thomas is the only left tackle. I mean, I don't understand. We're doing
it. This is any hit is going to get you hurt real bad if it's hard enough. There is no reason that we should only be focused on left tackle. If a guy can come in and play a solid right tackle and be a franchise right tackle, I'm drafting him too.
Not at 11.
Yes, at 11. Because
no way. Absolutely not. You gotta be out of your mind. You hear what you're saying? You're going against two things: a blindside hit that can annihilate the whole entire season, or one that's coming right out of you, and now you have options: step up, go around them. But if the guy's coming free, you don't see him.
I got a question. But Dan, hold on. Dan, I got a question for you. If you draft one of these guys, other than Andrew Thomas, who played left tackle, if you draft one of these guys this year, and they're not ready to play left tackle, what do you do with them? Let them sit on the bench, or do you put them at right tackle?
At that point, if they're not ready, you got to start grooming them. You have to put them on the field.
Exactly.
You put him at left tackle.
What?
You put him on left tackle. You learn on the job.
Wait, what?
You learn on the job.
Oh my God, dude! If you know the guy is not ready and needs some work, you put him on the right side, get him NFL experience, coach him up and prepare him, and make him like a 1-year project. Say next year we'll move you to left tackle, but you don't let.
First round offensive lineman. You can't do projects, guys. What's going on here? First round, top 15. You can't start doing projects. We're done with that. No, they projects on the line. Third rounder, fourth rounder, fine, no problem. But in the first round, you're going to start getting a guy and you're going to start calling him a project? No way.
How are you a project simply because you're not a left tackle? If you're not a left tackle, you're not a left tackle. That doesn't make you a project. Right tackle is a premium position for a reason. It's because it matters. If you don't have a right tackle, you're done. It doesn't matter. We cannot sit here and watch Sam run for his life. Do you know how much pressure was coming from the right side last year? You know how many times we talked about how bad Shell and Adoga were playing when they were on that right side and guys were just freeing up? You're talking about injuries. Dude, listen, yeah, and he sucks. And I told you guys that he was not going to be ready.
He's going to be good, though. That's the project. Hold on a second. That's your project. So now you want to draft another guy for another project. How many science projects are we going to go through now?
That's not a
well,
science
you got Fanta project.
Come on, man. Enough with projects.
Third round, simply because you're not a starting left tackle in the first round doesn't mean you can't come in and be a franchise right tackle.
My point exactly. So you get a third rounder, you do your projects, whatever you like on your third rounder. On your first rounder, it's plug and play. So you're saying, you know what? Let's just get any position. No, hold on. Let's get any position in the first round. Just like let's take Baltimore. All right, let's get Lamar Jackson. If he doesn't pan out at quarterback, you know what? We're going to try him at running back. We're going to see. We're just going to project him. First rounds are not projects. Not for the Jets. What? Joe, you even said it. You even said it. You said you are done and tired about this Jets being mediocre, this and that. We keep getting first rounders and projecting them and having like projects and that. We're going to continue in mediocrity.
But Dan, is it not but Dan, what I understand is it's not a project. If you draft a guy and he starts week 1 at right tackle this year and plays well, and you move him to left tackle next year, it's called a win. He played this year and next year, and he filled in
If it pans out. If it pans out. If it doesn't pan out, and he sucks at both sides, then
for everybody. But dude, that if is for everybody. We've had ifs for the last 10 years that haven't panned out. We've already seen that side. But to say, so you take a guy, say you take Becton and he plays right tackle this year, that's not a project. It's called, okay, he addressed a hole this year, next year he plays left, and we're fine. Move on. No big deal.
No, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. You need a left tackle. You need someone to
play.
I'm sorry, guys. I got to respectfully disagree on this one. I'm sorry. I think if you take a poll on all your guests tonight, they'll tell you that you're wrong on this one. Your first round, you're getting your left tackle. Left tackle is worth more on that offensive line than any position on that offensive line.
We're not saying. Listen, we're not saying left tackle is not important. There's a big difference here. Left tackle is important. If you draft a guy and he's not ready to play left tackle this year, it's okay. You draft him anyway. Play him at right tackle this year, left tackle next year. That's it. That's all we're saying. We're not. Joe, am I missing something here?
No, you're not. I
can't agree on that.
I don't get how
if that's the mindset, go wide receiver. If that's your mindset, go wide receiver. No way. I ain't going no left tackle. I'm going to put him on the right side.
But dude, we're just saying if he's not ready, you still take the Jets need linemen, dude. I don't understand what the problem is. What would be the problem?
Yeah, we're getting linemen. We're getting fans. We're getting that center. Well, we're getting linemen.
I don't understand how you are possibly turning around a franchise right tackle simply because he's not a left tackle. As if right tackle is just completely
franchise. Listen to what you're saying. Franchise right tackle.
I don't
franchise. If he's a left, if he throws left, yes. If he throws left, Yes.
You started your call praising. The Jets' offensive line. So the guys in the past, what do you think they had? They were stout all the way across.
Exactly.
Weren't they?
They got what? They got Fant already for the right side, right? Fant is to the right side. I mean, you're not going into this draft to go get a right tackle. Are you guys insane? No, you guys do this on purpose. You guys are doing this on purpose just to rile me up. Not going to happen.
All right, so Dan, in your opinion, Dan, I just got to understand this. Dan, in your opinion, would you take Becton or would you take a receiver?
Becton. I go Becton.
Okay. So we got it. Yeah. So what is your official prediction for the Jets' first and second round pick?
First and second round pick, easy. Andrew Thomas. Okay. And then second one, Ruiz. Okay. The best center there is. Again, I'm all for the offensive line.
You're gonna go receiver in the third round.
I'm just saying this right here. I'm thinking the Jets are going to trade the 2/3 and go back into the second and get their receiver, probably Pittman. You're still walking out of there with three picks.
Fair enough. Dan, thanks for calling it, man. We appreciate it, and thank you for everything you're doing with your employment too. We appreciate it, man.
No, I appreciate you guys, and again, we do what we do because we love what we do, and to help people, and we always put people first. Joe and Tyson and Kevin, you all know that. So I appreciate the love, guys. God bless, and go Jets Thursday.
Stay safe, my friend. Talk to you later.
Likewise. Thanks.
Joe, that was a hell of a call to start the show off with. I don't know where it went wrong. Like I was questioning myself. I'm like, am I missing something here? Because it didn't seem that complicated.
Listen, I want to thank Dan for calling in. It's a great call. I will thoroughly disagree with that. I mean, come on. If you're not a left tackle, I'm just worried about what do you say? A fumble over a sack, dude. You can't have your quarterback dropping back, trying to decide whether he's gonna fumble or get sacked every down. Look, I get it. Some people don't want to hear this, and I've said this 1,000 times. I said it last year when I talked about trading down and drafting 2 offensive linemen. People don't want to talk about better than offensive line. It's not a very sexy position, right? But here's the deal. Our offensive line is horrific. If you look at what we paid Fant, it looks like he's going to be a starter, okay? If we get a guy, if Andrew Thomas is not there and we have to go with another tackle that comes in and people are going, well, we think he's just going to be a right tackle. Even if he's a good right tackle that will solidify that spot, you take him. You take him because you have to. You have to better this offensive line. Let me tell you something. If you look at the rest of the offense around the league, they don't run left every single play. Why? Because there's a right side. There's a right side. You know that, right? Okay, so if there's a right side, you have to have somebody blocking the right side, okay? And guess what? The edge of the right side is a right tackle, okay? So, look, people think what they think. I love everybody, respect everybody, but, man, come on now.
The funny thing was, I was going to say to him, he's like, well, it's a difference between a sack or a fumble. How about we don't get Sam hit at all? That's the goal, is to not get hit at all.
That's what I said. That's insane. Well, I've seen people get hit and concussed by the blind. I've seen people get crushed and concussed by getting hit when they saw the hit coming. They shouldn't be getting hit. That's the point. The point is not to get him hit. Oh, well, he can see it. He can move up and run. Yeah, throw off the entire play. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's have Sam running for his life yet again another season because he could see the guy screaming off the edge from the snap. That's insane, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and then if you get a guy at right tackle, say the guy you draft is a right tackle, then you go out and sign a Peters or bring back Beachum, or you sign somebody for the rest,
exactly,
to address it. Draft the guy later on, but there's ways to get around it. But yeah, the goal is to fill holes, man. It's like, okay, we're gonna stay with the calls. That was a hell of a call to start the show off with. My goodness, we're gonna go to Dylan in Connecticut. Dylan, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
Not bad. It's definitely the second best week of the year, aside from opening week.
So what's your thoughts, man? What are you feeling at the 11th pick? Do you think there'll be linemen available? Will there be a running lineman? How do you think it's going to play out?
Well, I mean, so I am one of the believers that, you kind of, I think Mike Maccagnan pushed the Jets into having to go offensive line at 11, almost no matter what. Of course, there's a chance that there's none available, in which case I think you'd see a trade back. But I am on the believing side that, and I haven't seen it talked about much. I tweeted it the other day. There's really no talk about it, but I would not be surprised at all if, the Giants, the Panthers, maybe the Cardinals go line. If at number 9 there's one guy left, if it's the guy the Jets want, I would not be surprised to see them move from 11 to 9 with the Jags to get their guy. A trade up, no one really talks about it, but I would not be surprised to jump the Browns to grab their guy.
It's funny you say that. That was a question I was going to ask you. I saw several articles that said Joe Douglas likes to be kind of aggressive if there's a guy that he wants, as opposed to Mike Maccagnan, who never did that. But it's like he could very well do that. So would we say, that could actually happen where they say, listen, this is the guy we want at 9. We're going to move up. We give up a third-round pick or whatever it is, and we just go get him, which makes a lot of sense. But would you rather do that or just stay where you are? Say, we'll stay where we are until you get a wide receiver at 11 and then trade that third-round pick for Trent Williams. Would you rather have Trent Williams or the draft the guy?
That's a tough one. I mean, you kind of look at it as in the wide receiver class is super, super deep. It's going to depend. I mean, there's the contingency options. There's Trent Williams, and then I also think one that maybe some people forgot about. Kelvin Beacham's still out there. He could still be a contingency plan at this moment. If the board does fall wrong, I think Kelvin's still an option, and I don't think he'd be an expensive option for a year to get us through. Not saying that's the way I'd want to go, but that is still an option that's out there. Now, when you say Trent versus a wide receiver, I would be tempted to say, I would thoroughly enjoy having them trade for Trent Williams and grabbing, CeeDee Lamb if he's there at 11. I'm not crazy about Judy or Henry Ruggs, and that's just me. A lot of people, those kind of the two favorite guys in the draft class. I actually prefer Justin Jefferson over both of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for calling in. Justin Jefferson, not a bad wide receiver. I think he's solid as well. I like Judy over him, but I can see your take there. But I want to get your thoughts on that. I want to get your thoughts on the second tier of that wide receiver, because I've heard people talk about if they're taking a wide receiver at 1. Some people would like to see a wide receiver taken in the second round as well. Who do you kind of have in that second tier?
In that second, so I would say my favorite second-tier guy right now would be Denzel Mims. He reminds me a lot of Brandon Marshall coming out of UCF. That would be my guy if he's there. A lot of people like Pittman. I think the ones that will be available right now would kind of be Shenault, Pittman, Mims. Maybe there's a slight chance of Higgins, but I doubt it. My pick would definitely be Mims right now.
All right, Dylan, you're now Joe Douglas. Thursday night is coming. Who are your first and second round picks? Let's hear your predictions.
First and second. Okay, so first round pick, I'm going to go Jedrick Wills. Second round pick, let's go Denzel Mims.
There you go. That's a bold take. I like that. Thanks for calling it, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the draft.
You too. We're going to try. It's a nice little escape in the world. This is already, dude, Joe, we've had 2 callers. Our timeline is a mess. The phone lines are jammed.
Yeah.
It's complete chaos, and it's not even 9 o'clock yet.
I want to thank the last caller for calling in. I'm still dying from the first call. I'm talking tears. I can't stop it from rolling down my face. But, look, everybody's got takes. They're calling in. They're all passionate Jets fans. And I know we're all just excited for what we got coming up, man. A lot of things we got to see coming out of this draft. A lot of holes we got to fill. Oh, my goodness.
So 929-477-2651. And to clarify our stance on this, because now Dan has polls out there. Obviously, we want to draft a left tackle. The goal is to draft a left tackle. It's obvious. We all know this. But if there's an offensive lineman at 11 that is a right tackle now that could be a left tackle next year, you take him anyway because you still have the hole, and your offensive line's a mess. Like he's just blasting us now, dude. We're getting roasted now. I don't understand how it went south so fast.
Oh,
I don't understand.
It's crazy.
We have good we have good intentions. I swear.
Everybody's got their own takes. Look, I get it. I want a left tackle as well, but if we bring in a guy in that can play solid, a very solid right tackle, as a franchise right tackle, a guy that's going to solidify that spot, then I don't see how you pass that up either. You've got to take that too. You've got to. And then if he does progress or whatever, okay, you can move him over to the left side when he's ready. If he's not, then fine. But you've got to shore up that right side. Because, again, there is a right side. If teams know that, okay, well, you got a decent left, they just move the pass rush over to the right side and attack that side. There's a right side in football. That's why there's a right tackle.
We watched it last year. We saw this last year. Jesus Christ. We're gonna go to Guillermo in Brooklyn. Guillermo, what's up, man?
Yo, Tyson, Joe, what's up, guys?
How you doing, man? Are you feeling positive? Or you have your energy back? You ready to go?
I'm feeling more positive than you, Tyson. You pessimistic psycho. Lord Jesus, man, you are crazy, bro. Chill, man.
What did I do now?
Today you are much better. I don't know what it is. It's weird because it rained terribly today, but for some reason you have a way better attitude. Lord Jesus, man, I've seen you on YouTube. It's like your pessimism is ridiculous, man. You kill Joe Douglas time and time again. How do
I kill Joe Douglas? How do I kill Joe Douglas? He's got to earn his respect. He's got to earn my respect. He's done nothing.
Fair enough. No,
he hasn't got a draft yet.
Bro, I agree with you 1,000%. But you've killed Joe Douglas in the past. Oh, you killed him for past things that happened, like you killed him for the Matt Khalil situation where, look, all of us wanted Matt because the options were just not there. You talked about how he didn't the O-line was in the off season. The filling up the O-line was fairly underwhelming. But it's like, all right, well, the results are underwhelming. I get that, even though Connor McGovern, I think, was probably the highest rated interior O-lineman left left amongst the guys in free agency. Then you kill him for guys like, say, Conklin and stuff. And the thing about it is that, look, if the guy didn't try, and we know he didn't try to get Conklin, that's one thing. But if he tried to get Conklin, but Conklin picked the Browns regardless, like even if he signed for the Browns for less money, the fact that the Jets were not winners, unfortunately we're not winning right now. Our organization is, let's be honest, is outside of Joe Douglas, Sam Darnold, Jamal Adams, a few players here and there, our organization is not that desirable to come to. So some guys might take less money to go elsewhere. The same thing with Robbie Anderson, who I wanted to keep, but it's like the Braylon Edwards thing where some guys might say, all right, I've been here, I've been a good soldier, you drafted me, I treat you guys like my family. I'll go sign for someplace else for less money to spite you guys versus sign for this.
Well, Robbie Anderson didn't do that. Robbie Anderson left for more money.
He went to the Panthers for 2 for $10, right?
Yeah, well, 2 for $20. He got $2 million more in the first year than the Jets were offering. Yeah, so he got more guaranteed money up front than the Jets were offering. So he didn't leave for less. He left for more. So, but I don't understand what your criticism of me is. So Ryan Khalil last year was a bust. It didn't work out. Joe Douglas made some good moves, made some bad moves last year. That's a fair assessment. I gave him credit for McGovern, and I'm questioning the other moves because all of a sudden journeyman guys that haven't proven anything are considered great moves. I love to be proven wrong, but to not be. You're going to tell me Van Roten's a proven guy? Fant's a proven guy? Your left tackle right now is a proven guy you feel comfortable about?
No. The guy Fant, I don't think he's a proven. I don't think, no. It's okay to question certain things, but you were judging him, for instance, you judged him last year or last season for the Gase move where it was like, don't get me wrong, I wanted Gase out. I never wanted him in the first place. I wanted him out the first day. But you were killing him, and I remember somebody had to correct you. It was like, well, he didn't have actual control over Gase. He only has control over the player personnel. He doesn't have control over Gase. And it's like, I feel like some of your criticism, fair enough. Like I agree with you where guys are anointing him. I'm like, all right, that's stupid. I think in Joey Trust, I think it's the stupid guys are trying to find some saying to stick to. Look, I used to say Sanchez. I mean, let's be honest. We knew Sanchez was going to be something. He was going to be a Hall of Famer. But I just feel like, look, you got to give the guy a chance. Look, give him. He came in at a weird time because, of course, Woody Johnson is an imbecile. He came in at the wrong time, was able to control that draft last year. He's coming this year. And, I mean, again, I'm not saying that he didn't try or did try for Conklin. But, again, we have to wait. We have to give him time.
Obviously, but listen, we have to wait. And he had 1 year, an entire year, to prepare for this draft. But the free agency expectations for this entire fan base, what everybody was preaching and talking about, the end result, as of today, April 21st, it's underwhelming. Not one freaking guy
right,
talked about other McGovern. So if I say that, how am I wrong?
No, Joe
Douglas he can pay guys. But he can
but some guys don't want to come there. Do you think there are guys like Jack Conklin, right? Do you think that, all right, put it like this, if you're Jack Conklin, right? And I understand, look, money is actually probably, in all the sports, is probably I'll probably say UFC and NFL, just because of the short lifespan, guys getting hurt, you want the security, right? But some guys don't think like that, right? And this is, again, we don't know what happened with Jack Conklin. If the Jets did offer Jack Conklin, and remember, I think it was Schefter, who I think jumped the ball. It was one of those guys who, like, reported earlier that the Jets were, like, going to get him, blah, blah, and I guess it fell apart. But who was to say that we did not offer him more? I'm sorry, yeah. Who's to say we did not offer him more money, and he went to go sign with the Browns, who on
I
paper
don't
looked
care
better.
what the excuses. We can make all the excuses in the world. People don't like the coach. People don't like the owner. They didn't get paid enough money. Whatever it is, I don't care what the excuses are. The end result, as of today, to me, free agency was kind of like, not what I expected. Now he's got to hit the draft, and then after the draft, he's got to sign other free agents. But as of right now, it's underwhelming. Like, I don't know, like, that's just being fair.
But no. See the thing about it, Joe. You're complaining two things. Tyson, excuse me. I agree with you in the fact that the results can be underwhelming. But I think it was on one of the previous calls or whatever. You were attributing that failure to Joe Douglas and none of us know if Joe Douglas gave or offered Conklin a pretty hefty contract. We have no idea. So I can't blame it solely, Joe Douglas, whatever. Now, only person I remember, a GM that was here, that where this guy dropped the ball on a player who was basically, hey, I want to kind of come here, I'm interested, was Emmanuel Sanders and John Idzik, where it came out that Emmanuel Sanders was on the plane to come to New York, and John Idzik was like, was about to get on the plane to come to New York, and John Idzik was like, he's an idiot.
So instead of blaming Joe Douglas, I'll blame the entire organization for sucking and being incompetent, or having a losing pedigree. So whoever it is, the fact of the matter is. But dude, Douglas has a lot to prove. Like he has this draft now.
There's certain things I can't attribute to Joe. Now look, if you want to blame the whole organization, which I just said, the Jets have a crappy organization, and a lot of it's because of Woody and the other Chris Johnson. If you want to blame it on them for running a terrible organization and guys not want to come here because of that, I agree 1,000%.
But here's my other.
When you get all that, you're saying that it's on Joe.
But the other thing too, though, but the other thing we've seen so far with Joe Douglas in free agency is he's trying to get rid of the Mike Maccagnan stink, where Maccagnan was getting worked over on contracts, getting bad contracts, and getting played, where Joe Douglas set a market for his player and wouldn't budge from it. In some cases it worked. He got Brian Poole, he got Jordan Jenkins. In some cases he lost with Robbie Anderson. Was he a stickler in negotiation that didn't go above and get the other guys? Did he not want to pay more? We don't know any of that. The only thing I know is the end result. The end result is now he's got pressure to get this right in the draft, and then at the free agency, because the line is still a work in progress. But right now,
that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Is the line better today?
I'm sorry,
go ahead. Is the line better today than it was going into free agency? Like, we went into free agency saying we need a left tackle, we need a center, we need all these pieces. The center, we all agree, is better. Other than that, where do we upgrade? We don't even know. We're not confident.
I don't know. Bro, again, that's all I want to say is that we can't kill Joe Douglas. Like, I'm not praising this guy for anything. Am I cautiously optimistic? Yeah, because he came from two winning pedigrees, Eagles and the Ravens. And so I'm looking at look, there have been decisions that have been made by Parcells, decisions that have made by other GMs. I'm not saying he's at that level or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that sometimes there's certain things look, Robbie Anderson, I love this guy as a deep threat. He was one of my favorite offensive players on the Jets in the past few years, just because he can take it to the yard, run a deep 9 route. He's gone. But again, it has to also be in his vision. And again, look, he's a GM. And there's the McCagnon stink. I mean, let's be honest. McCagnon makes some terrible decisions. The only thing that I'm scared about with regards to some of the so-called McCagnon stink that I'm like, all right, you need to keep this guy is Le'Veon Bell. I don't like the fact that Gates is trying to like force his zone blocking crap. There was a great article in Gangrene Nation where it broke down how well he ran on man blocking versus zone blocking, and Gates is like literally trying to force feed zone blocking. It's like, dude, Le'Veon Bell is a baller. Yeah. You get the O-line around him. The guy can catch a space. He catch at the backfield. How many touchdowns? Yeah. I can remember 2 distinct touchdowns. The Bills game, and there's another game that's escaping me where you actually 3 games, or maybe even twice in the Bills game.
The Cowboys
game. He's catching underthrown balls, or I won't say bad balls. He's catching the balls where it's like he's going in for a touchdown. And I'm like, dude, even if you don't have the proper man blocking for him, you put him out as an extra freaking receiver. You have him abuse linebackers in space. Like, God, if you have weapons, use them. So that's the only thing where I'm like, all right, I think that's more of a Gates thing. But that's what I'm saying about with Joe Douglas.
Yeah, and first off, I want to thank you for calling in, man, and I hear you. For me, I'm looking at this draft, and I'm saying that Joe Douglas has to get it right because, like you said, he's got up in the offensive line in front of Le'Veon for him to be able to make plays, not just Le'Veon, but Sam as well. And so that goes to my question for you is, who do you think the Jets take at 12? Are you looking for a tackle? And if so, what is the tackle you'd like to see us take?
I would love to see us take Andrew Thomas. I bet, you know what, bro? And I think, and I'm not coming at Tyson. I just think that a lot of and I think Tyson mentioned this, but I think a lot of what's going out are smoke screens, where it's like, oh yeah, this player, Bob. I mean, it came out that Gettleman was like, I mean, it's almost found out that he was just putting out random crap in the media saying he loves this, he loves that. And I think the same thing with, look, left tackle is a premium position. Now, I understand what you guys are saying, and I actually looked it up to try to find guys who make the successful transition from right tackle to left tackle, and it's rare. But there are a lot of guys who transition from left tackle to right tackle, whether it's from college or whatever. And the guys who try to transition back because maybe a left tackle got hurt, we need to protect Sam's blind side. Like, I agree that last call. Like, even though Jedrick Willis, there's a great video on, I think it's Brett Coleman, where he breaks down Jedrick Willis versus Wirfs. And Jedrick Willis's technique is beautiful. Like, if he was a left tackle, that would be my first pick because his technique is wonderful. But we got to go with Thomas because, look, I love the receivers, man. Ruggs, he's like another Tariq Hill. Jerry Jeudy is a technician. CeeDee Lamb might be, the next DeAndre Hopkins, even though the competition in terms of, defensive backs in his division is kind of whatever. But you need to protect. You got to start from the trenches. If you look at, this last Super Bowl, honestly, if you look at it, was probably the first time I could think of where you had elite wide receivers win in the Super Bowl. And Tariq Evans, and I don't want to say Sammy Watkins is elite, but, he was a premium pick years ago for the Bills, so you could kind of put him in some near that category. We need to protect Sam's blind side. We need to have him operate from the pocket, allow him to be comfortable. And when he wants to, then he could operate, he could run outside the pocket and throw. There have been times last season, where Sam got hurt. And I'm like, is he going to get up from that? If you look at the Trevor Siemian play, how many times in that Browns game where literally our edges just folded like pancakes and you had Garrett breathing down the neck on the left side? It's like, dude, what we have to build up the trenches. No sexy picks in terms of the first picks, whatever. The only reason way I might pick it is if there's a run on tackles, and the only guy I really don't want is Mekhi Becton. I'm scared of him. The weight issue scares me, and the drug thing, it's tricky, right? Because in the NFL, I've given guys leeway because, when you research how much pain some of these guys go through, and some of these guys don't want to be stuck on opiates their whole lives, and the weed and the not THC, but the CBD, whatever, CBD, that stuff is a healing factor, right? And I'm like, look, I would not want my son to be a heroin addict. You have the horror stories of Tony Mandarich and all these other guys. I'd rather him smoke weed. So if that was the case, maybe. But then again, judgment and things like that scares me. His weight issue scares me. The fact that his pass protection was a little iffy. I'd rather go for the guy in Andrew Thomas that people are trying to play that. I think that they're doing it purposely because he's probably going to be chosen early or someone's going to move up to get him. This guy's been a really good left tackle for Georgia, and guys trying to play him down. Always boring about, hey, give me a boring guy who makes no noise, where I don't see the sacks, I don't see this. Give me that type of guy, and I'm taking it.
Guillermo, would you trade up for him then? If you want Andrew Thomas, would you trade up for him?
If I could trade one of those thirds for him, I would do it. Because you got to build from the trenches, bro. The only thing is that and I know you guys got to go to other calls. The only thing is, would you take Isaiah Wilson if all the other tackles are taken except for Becton, because Isaiah Wilson, I think there were a bunch of visits that Joe Douglas had with that whole Georgia line. So, excuse me. He had a bunch of visits with the Georgia line. So he met with Thomas. I think it's Kinley too on the line too, and then he also met with Isaiah Wilson. My bad. Isaiah Wilson's no, he's not Georgia, right?
Yeah, he's Georgia, but you're not. When you taking him? When you taking him? When do you want Wilson?
I've been seeing mocks where he's, and I know you hate mocks, Tyson, and I'm not saying mocks are God-given, whatever, but I've just seen him taken in the first, and I just don't want it, because I think the drop-off
in the first round?
In the first round.
At 11?
I think there are a lot of smoke screens, bro. I don't think some of these guys that they're saying, like Isaiah Simmons, I don't see him going at 4 from the Giants. And if there's a run on tackles, it's weird, because I think there's going to be a run on tackles, but right after it's going to be run on wide receivers. So you have the Broncos who want to trade up. You have the Atlanta Falcons who've been rumored to want to trade up. So I'm scared that you might have a quick run on tackles, and then we're looking up all 4 tackles are gone, and you might have an Isaiah Wilson, and you still have, say, Cleveland up there who has to pick. That's what I'm scared of, because a lot of these teams can take
all
tackles.
4 gone. I'm going receiver and going second round. I'm not. I mean, that's
so
what you got to look
second
at value
round,
charts, man.
You're taking Austin Jackson. Have you seen Austin Jackson? I don't say he's terrible. He's bad.
All right, so Jim, but what is your prediction for the first and second round?
First, second round, I pray to God. Well, all right, you said prediction. So, in Joe we trust, I guess. I'm just to get Tyson pissed. But, I mean, in the first round, I'm joking with you, Tyson. In the first round, Andrew Thomas. In the second round, if Denzel Mims is not there, I'm taking Brandon Aya, the kid from Arizona.
Jim, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the draft.
You too, guys. Peace, man.
Oh. So, Joe, I never in a million years thought our draft prediction show would be 20 minutes of arguing. What the hell is going on here?
Hey, man, look, first off, I want to thank Guillermo for calling in. He's a great call. Look, people they're passionate with their takes, you know. It is
a pessimistic psycho.
Well, people say what they got to say.
What I don't understand, though, is he called me pessimistic and then agreed with all my points. I don't understand how that happened.
Well, hey, look, people call in, they got their takes, and they got to say what they got to say. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank him for calling in, man. This has been a crazy show.
I never in a million years expected this. I thought this was going to be happiness and everybody's talking draft, and now we're in complete chaos. So we're going to go to Steve and Albany. Steve, what's up, man?
What's going on, fellas? We finally made it.
Yeah, it's been it feels like we've been talking draft for a year, man. This has been a painful wait, so I'm glad we're finally here.
Yeah, I'm so happy. So excited.
So when you look at this, a lot of smoke screens, a lot of predictions, and a lot of analysts are saying there's going to be a run on offensive linemen, which I tend to agree too because a lot of teams need them. How do you see this first round playing out?
I think we're going to get we'll get the 4th tackle if we're lucky. But I do think that you could see a team like Denver or somebody jump ahead of us to get the last one if it's looking like we're going to get the 4th. I think New York Giants are definitely going to go on tackle. Arizona and Cleveland should really, really go tackle. So it's risky, man. It's a risk.
Yeah, it is, and I want to thank you for calling in. Look, I hear you, and I brought this point up a long time ago about that there's teams that could be ahead of us, that could end up taking tackles. And, I'm hoping that if that does happen, that Joe Douglas has, a contingency plan, has something else up his sleeve so that he can address the position, whether it be trade for Trent Williams or maybe a guy that he values in that second round. But if all the tackles are gone, are you against taking a wide receiver at 11, or do you want to trade down?
No, I'm 100% against trading down. At 11, we really can't mess this up. We're either going to get a really good offensive tackle or we're going to get a really good wide receiver, which both fill a really big need. So we just stay at 11 and take what the draft gives us, in my opinion.
So would you consider trading up for a guy that you really want in the first round? So if there's say a lot of people are behind Andrew Thomas, if you can move up 2 spots to get him, do you make that move?
Yeah, I mean, for Andrew Thomas, I would, but I think he's going to go number 4 to the Giants. But if he was there, I would definitely move up for him, 100%.
So, and now with the failed drug test of Becton, there's a chance that he could drop a little bit and be the fourth guy that comes to the Jets. Do you take him, or you're going to go look at a wide receiver like, whoever, Judy, Ruggs, Lamb?
No, I would still take Becton. I think we can pass it up. The Jets have to start adding good football players. That's just what we don't have any. We have two. We have Jamal and Sam. That's really it. With Bell, I guess. But we need to start adding good young football players, especially an offensive tackle. Having Laramie Tunsil a couple of years ago, he fell to Miami. Now you got team traded 2 first-rounders for him. So don't get cute. Just take the tackle, fill the need, and then hit a wide receiver second round, and then maybe another one in the third. We're set up really good this year. It's not that bad.
So in the second round, that wait till 48, a lot of analysts are saying you can still get a good wide receiver there. But would you be more aggressive in the second round? Say, listen, we know a guy we want. We'll move up in the second round to get a guy we want.
Yeah, I'd much rather move up in the second round. Move up in the second round. I still don't think we're going to get a guy like Mims in the second. I think he's going to go first round. So second, I would trade up for T. Higgins if he's there in the second round. I don't know if he will be. But I think at 48, we could probably sit tight and just I would think we could get Chenault, Pittman, maybe Jalen Rieger, or that Hamler kid from Penn State. I'd really like to get Pittman just because of his chemistry with Sam and the fact that he's gigantic and runs a 4.5.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think we really have to get too aggressive. I think us being aggressive would be, in my opinion, moving a pick for Trent Williams. I think that would totally open up the draft for us. Because if you take, our later third to Washington, then at 11, if the tackles are gone, you can take that wide receiver. You double up on a wide receiver in the second round. You still have a third rounder to snag a corner or an edge rusher or another interior offensive lineman. And then you at least have something moving forward. It's just, especially if it's just for a third round pick. I know it's a little bit of a risk based on his previous health, but we gotta make something happen with this offense here because we gotta score points.
All right, Steve, you're Joe Douglas. Who are your first 2 picks in the draft Thursday night?
I think we're going to end up with Mekhi Becton and Michael Pittman Jr.
There you go. Thanks for calling in, man. Enjoy the draft.
You too, guys. Later.
All right, Joe, 929-477-2651. We got through a call with no arguing, Joe. We're making progress. Our night is improving here. Things are looking up now.
I mean, look, I want to thank him for calling in as well. Great takes. Listen, this show, I'm telling you, it's already bringing fire. People are already hot. People are passionate. So just keep on calling in.
Now, this next caller, I think we may have the arguing's going to return. I can almost predict the arguing's going to return. I'm going to guarantee it. We're going to bring on Shaq. Shaq, what's up, man?
Oh, yeah, it's coming. Hey, Tyson, are you ready to see Eric Smith
sir.
and Calvin Pryor be our safety? after we trade Jamal? Are you ready? You can't wait, right?
Jamal's not going nowhere, man.
I can't
Jamal's
wait.
not going nowhere, man.
I can't wait. I don't believe it. I don't believe it until Joe Douglas send him the contract. Right? Now, that's another subject for another day. I might come back to it because I might go on a little rant. Now, Joe Douglas has not proven a damn thing. Nobody's going to tell me, jump on a bandwagon, George Fenn is the savior, no. We could have avoided this. We could have got Jack Conklin. And I'm not even trying to say get big names. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we could have signed some solid quality guys. We could have got Conklin, and we could have possibly made a trade for Trent Williams. If not Trent Williams, we could have got, Glasgow. There's no reason why we left free agency with just one lineman. No reason.
They can still get Trent Williams.
Yeah.
And I hope so. Because now he just made it tougher on himself for this draft. He made it tougher. So now we're still in the same predicament. We just added a set that we don't know. Like, you put all of that money you put to sign extra tight ends, Brown, and extra middle linebackers that we have. That money could have went to something better. Why would you? Why are you signing 6 linebackers and Avery Williamson is still on the team? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not. And I hope I get ripped on Twitter for this one. I hope I get ripped on Twitter for this one, Tyson. You're going to come with me. You're going down with me. I'm taking you down with me, damn it.
Why is everybody
against me tonight?
Why is everybody going against me tonight?
I agreed with you. I agreed with you. I agreed with you. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a realist. I'm seeing right now, I feel like we're going down the hole. If Jamal gets traded, F it. You might as well trade the whole team. Trade the whole team.
Wow.
Because you're just basically trying to bank. You're trying to bank on some damn lottery tickets when you got a proven player right there in front of you. You might as well just destroy the whole team. Destroy the whole team.
Wow.
Destroy it. Break it down.
Wow.
Kill it. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. Well, yeah. First off, Shaq, I want to thank you for calling in. You know, you're coming on. You're giving your takes how you want to give them. Look, I understand some of your criticisms of Joe Douglas. You know, I was a guy that wanted to see Jack Conklin come here as well. For whatever reason, that deal didn't get done. You know, but the Fant signing did make me, question. I said, okay, well, is this the guy that you really think you can go forward with? I've watched him, not that good, but again, there's still time to build. There's still free agents out there. There's still guys that we can go to. Again, Trent Williams, still an option. We can still make a trade and move for him. But to me, Joe Douglas has got to hit in this first round. He's got to get the right guy in here. Shaq, he's got to. And I'm looking at this situation, and I'm saying if Mekhi Becton is the guy, the last tackle that's there, and we're sitting at 11, and he's right there, would you take Mekhi Becton, Shaq?
You have no choice. You have no choice. It could have been. I felt like it could have been fixed if he would have done everything earlier, so that we could have got our playmaker on the first round. We could have got him, and because we didn't make any moves up front on our O-line besides the center, didn't have the nerve to say in the interview, we're trying to protect Sam, we're trying to make him look good. I'm not gonna buy that BS. With you saying, I'm going to protect Sam and still have Chuma Edoga and George Fant as your tackles. No, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. So now we have to get a tackle. As much as I want CeeDee Lamb, we got to get a tackle. You can't get the ball to the...
Yeah, but if they trade for Trent Williams, though, you can get Trent Williams, CeeDee Lamb, and whoever else you want in the second round if you get them for the third. I mean, there's still a lot that can happen before the draft, man. And, they could shock us all and go wide receiver at 11 and have something up their sleeve after that. We don't know, man. Like, there's still some wiggle room.
Right. And I don't, like I said, I don't want to trade back, but it's like I feel like we're such in a predicament that we have to, because we don't have a pass rush. We don't have corners. We don't have
hold on.
O-line.
Listen, man. People call me pessimistic. Damn. You're just all doom and gloom tonight. We're not in that much of a bind. If you get your tackle at 11, you go wide receiver in the second round. Third round, you can go whatever you want, or you can go 2 linemen in first, second round, get 2 receivers in the third round, and you make moves after the draft. You get Golden, you get pass rushers that are veterans. Vinny Curry, they've been linked to. So a lot of different options here, man. There's a lot of different ways this can go.
I hope so. I hope
so. Doom and gloom.
We could have been solid. We could have been solid, man. Get the lineman early, then get CeeDee Lamb.
We could be having the same conversation a week from now, being like, "Damn, Joe Douglas killed it. We got all these different players. I didn't expect this." So much could change between now and next Tuesday, man. There could be a lot of moves made.
Let's not forget the coaching. Oh, Lord.
Oh, well, we're sticking draft now. We're just talking draft now. Don't try to bring this down here. We're trying to have a happy, positive show here, man. We're trying to have a happy, positive show here.
Oh,
so, Shaq,
what
is your prediction, man? What is your prediction for the first 2 picks?
Either Becton or Andrew Thomas. And our second round is Denzel Mims. Oh my God.
Okay. Shaq, you need to take a deep breath, man. Inhale, exhale, smile, and understand things are going to be okay, man. Like, it's going to be okay. We have to have positivity for a little bit longer. It's going to work out all right. We'll be fine, I promise.
Shuma Doga. George.
Have a good night. Come on, man. Have a good night, man. Thanks for calling in. Joe, we're working like double time tonight, man. Like, this could actually work tonight.
Hey, man, first off, I want to thank Shaq for calling in. Hey, look, people are feeling how they're feeling. I understand some of the nerves. People are nervous. Some people don't trust Joe Douglas. I'm not necessarily on that train, but I understand why some feel like this, But, hey, look, for me, my head is up. I'm looking at this situation, and I'm saying I think Joe Douglas is going to be able to do some things. I really, really do. And this draft, for me, is going to be big for him. He's got to make the right moves and hit on the right guys.
The one point that I will agree with, and this is my, the argument is, usually you can make moves in free agency to give you flexibility in the draft, and Joe Douglas didn't do that. The free agency did not dictate. They say, okay, now we have wiggle room in the draft. Because, if you addressed left tackle in free agency or found ways, we wouldn't be sitting here saying, oh, we have to get this, we have to get this. We'd have, saying just for example, Joe, your point the whole time is saying, listen, if you trade for Trent Williams, say you give away a third-round pick, your first, second round, you can do whatever you want. You take the two guys that you want at the positions you want, and you fly. And that's, we didn't get that in the free agency. That's the problem.
Yeah, and that was my big thing going into the entire offseason was, hey, if we just get one or two guys in this free agency, it really frees up our options in the draft. The Trent Williams move still could be made, so I'm hoping that he looks into that and does make it. I know a lot of people are screaming second-round pick. I think we'll still be able to get Trent for a third. I really do. Maybe a third and a fourth. That's something I would be interested in as well. But, he's because for whatever reason Conklin got away and other guys weren't getting signed. It is what it is. We're going into a situation like this, but again, there's still a lot of moves to be made. I've talked about it, trading Jamal Adams. I think there's quite a bit of capital we can get back from that could really help us shore up other positions, so we'll see what he does, man, because I know there's a lot of passionate fans that feel a certain way.
929-477-2651. This is completely not the tone I expected tonight. I was all excited. I was happy. I was looking to just, argument after argument. What in the hell is going on here? And we'll get blamed, Joe.
Oh, my
dude, you know what the worst thing is, dude? We'll get the feedback tomorrow, but you guys are negative. You're fighting with everybody. You haven't said a word. We're just trying to talk.
Dude, I have been laughing and crying since the first call. I can't stop laughing. Look, everyone's excited, man. And this is a great time for us. Everyone's excited. Everyone's got different takes. Everyone feels differently about the draft, how we should go about it. So, I just love hearing everybody's takes and going back and forth with folks, man. It's going to be fights galore on the rest of the show.
No, this is nuts. We're going to go to Luca and Brooklyn. Luca, what's up?
Nothing much, guys. I've called back before. How are you? Happy draft week.
Thank goodness, man. It's finally here. What are your thoughts on this first round, man? Do you see a run of offensive linemen? Do we trade up? How do you think we're going to do?
Well, I was going to bring up a point about that, Tyson, you mentioned in multiple videos. I don't understand why half the fan base is going to be upset if we select a wide receiver or a tackle. You're either way setting assets for your quarterback. You don't want him throwing off his back foot every time to get to a receiver. What you want to maintain is the offensive line.
Dude, I agree. Listen, offensive line to me, if the Jets go wide receiver or offensive line, I'm happy. To me, it's offense. If you go offense the first 3 rounds, I'm happy. I don't care what position. It's just to address holes. But dude, this show represents that, man. I guarantee you, Jets fans, as a rule, are always going to find a reason to complain about something. It's just the way it is. I guarantee you, if we go offensive lineman, she took CeeDee Lamb. Just the nature of the beast, man. It's just. But offensive line is definitely a priority. Is there a guy that you want more than others, or does the failed drug test bother you? What do you think about the linemen?
No, I don't think any of the 4 tackles is fine. Any of the 4.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for calling in. Look, I hear you. I'm a guy that's been screaming that we should take a tackle in the first round. I've been screwed. We should take O-linemen for years in the first round, especially during Maccagnan's reign here. But now you're looking at a situation, you've got to take a tackle. You've got to get a guy in here. But, you know, say we do take a tackle in the first round. Let's say we end up with Andrew Thomas in the first. Who are you taking in the second? Because those are the rounds second and down where we kind of flubbed these last couple of years, and it's really hurt us. So who are you taking in the second round to address a need on this football team?
I'm taking Pittman. Hopefully he's coached up well. The thing is, the problem is that Maccagnan couldn't hit on the late picks. That's the problem. We got to hit on his late picks.
No, that's the biggest thing is our lack of depth is because we weren't drafting well. So it's like you want those guys you take in the 4th and 5th round 2 years from now, they're starters for you. That's where we kind of find it. Are there any other positions? Could you see the Jets going running back in the 3rd round since that's kind of a hole behind Le'Veon Bell?
I say that's like a 5th round for a backup running back. Also, another position I want to bring up, pass rusher. I say with your 2 third-round picks, you get corner and pass rusher. Maybe not so much corner if you plan on signing Logan Ryan. But if you sign a pass rusher in the 3rd round, maybe you get somebody for depth like Vinny Curry or Marcus Golden at post-draft.
Yeah.
No, that's fair, dude. That's definitely fair. I mean, Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm right there. I mean, kind of see how the board would play out, because I think if we do get a tackle in the first, I would like to see our first 2 or possibly 3 picks be wide receivers. I would love to get Pittman in the second. I would love to go wide receiver again in the 3rd. And if there's a guy there that we really think could come in and give us some impact, I'd love to see us go wide receiver in the 3rd again. But, again, like you said, I wouldn't necessarily be against edge rusher if it's there, too, because I think that there are some guys there that could end up working out for us. So I think that would be a solid move, too. But when exactly would you address corner? Would you possibly address corner in the 3rd, too, or corner a little bit later?
Corner in the 3rd round. Get somebody like Damon Arnett.
So would you rather have that, or would you rather have Logan Ryan after the draft with, give him like $7 or $8 million for a 1-year deal?
I think I would. I don't know. Either or is fine, but I would go Logan Ryan because you know what he is. You don't know what the 3rd round corner is going to be. I mean, he'll be well coached by Greg Williams, no doubt about that.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair enough. So, Luca, you're now Joe Douglas. Who are your first 3 picks for the Jets?
Round 1, Andrew Thomas. Round 2, Michael Pittman. Round 3, maybe Okwara from Notre Dame.
Oh, he's setting me up. Luca, thanks for calling in, man. Enjoy the draft.
All right, thank you. You too.
See, Joe, I'm holding back. I'm holding back here.
Yeah, first off, I want to thank that last caller up until the point where he, tried to tee that up for you. That was nasty. All right, I know what you were trying to do there. You're trying to ruin the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We don't need none of that around here. But he was a great call. Hope to hear from him in the future. A lot of interesting takes on the draft, man. A lot of people feel differently about how to build this football team.
Yeah, and the Logan Ryan conversation is interesting, but I think that's another guy where teams aren't going to sign a player like that now. They're going to say, you know what, let's hit the draft first, see who we get, and if they don't get their guy in the draft, then they sign a Logan Ryan or his other players. I mean, he makes a lot of sense, but it's just like, Joe, why you got to let the draft play out first, it seems like.
Yeah, you do, but then you also got to wonder his price tag, because if you have teams vying for him after the draft, that means he's the last stop, dog. He's the last stop. You know what I'm saying? So you better come out them pockets, or you're gonna get left in the dust. So you got to worry about that as well when you're talking about these guys. Hey, we'll just vie for these guys after the draft, because they know there is no other alternative, my friend. The draft is over. The initial. Yeah. I'm telling you, every single dime. You know what I'm saying? So you got to worry about that as well. So, yeah, he would be an interesting option, but you just have to wonder how much he would command. And you also, again, you don't want to get into a bidding war with the other team trying to vie for your services, because that could really drive that price up.
All right, we're going to go to James in Nevada. James, what's up, man?
Guys, I'm good. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are staying safe over there, and I know Joe's in California. You know what? Really excited for the draft. The calls at this point have been outstanding, too. Everybody has a unique spin on what we should do. Well, I'm thinking, guys, if we can get one of those elite, what we would call elite offensive linemen, we do it. But if it's that guy, Mekhi, if he's there, then you're taking wide receiver hands down. You know, I know how important it is to protect Sam and give him protection. Yeah. When the kid has time, he's outstanding, right? Even going back to SC, Sam didn't really have a good O-line there, but what he did have when he was at SC was powerful weapons on the outside with Juju Smith-Schuster, right? So that could be a possibility, too. You just bypass the lineman altogether, and you bring in CeeDee Lamb, you bring in Judy, and say, hey, Sam, you know what, here's some weapons. And that's the side of the fence that I think I'm on, guys. I'm thinking I want to give Sam some weapons. I want to give him a CeeDee Lamb. You know, you give him the ball and let him just go get you those chunk plays, and he can make something out of nothing. Because, guys, we need to figure out a way to score points. There's just no way around it. But we can get that, Thomas.
First off, I want to thank you for calling in. You know, you're spitting your takes, and I hear you. I get what you're saying about Sam being able to scramble around, make a play. He didn't necessarily have the best protection, but you can't do that in the NFL. These are some of the best athletes in the entire world. This is the top of the top guys. You try that, and you'll get crushed. We saw that this year, where he was trying to run around and try to make a play, and often it was ending up with him on his ass. You can't do that. These guys are bringing it. You got these big dudes, you know, these big, damn near 300-pound dudes running low fours. Some of these dudes are in the, 4.43, 4.4. You know, these elite pass rushers coming off the edge and concussing people. You can't not have him protected. But one of the points that you brought up was saying you would pass on Mekhi Becton. And my question for you is, why? Are you concerned about the drug test? Are you concerned about his weight? What exactly would kind of keep him away from being a guy you used to let?
You know, one thing is going to be the drug thing, and we don't really know everything behind that. You know, his size and what he is as a tackle, we just don't know how that's going to translate exactly, you know, to the NFL. I don't want to hold my breath with him. I don't want to hold my breath and
translate. I mean, look at the Shaw Ferguson, man. We saw how it translated. That guy can bad people.
You know what, Brickett, we knew, though. You know what I mean? You knew that he was going to come in and he was going to anchor your whole line for 10 years. I don't know about Mekhi Becton. I don't know if he has that. And for me, in my opinion, I just have some question marks about him. And with those question marks, I think I just translate directly to wide receiver. I think I don't even look at that, to be honest.
So how are you ranking the wide receivers? How do you rank the wide receivers, like top three?
For me, you know what? I think I'm going CeeDee Lamb, number 1. I'm going Judy, 2. And you know what? I think I'm going to put Mims, number 3. You know, that kid is pretty talented. He has some physical ability. I like that, yes. At number 3. He's my third guy. I think he's pretty talented with the size. Ruggs, you know what? He's got elite speed, but I'm going to need to see more from him, too. You know, he's a big play home run threat. I just think that Mims gives you a little bit more, though. He gives you more options, more things he can do. And to be honest, that's kind of why I put Judy at number 2, because you've seen at Alabama, you have Ruggs and Judy, you know, on the same field. You know, I don't know what that's going to look like when they don't have talented pieces around it, when they're not at Alabama. And that is something that does, you know, concern me too when you take Alabama guys. It used to be the same thing at SC. You take SC guys sometimes and they go to the NFL, and when they're not surrounded by, you know, all that talent, they kind of shrink a little bit. So I don't know. That's just my opinion, but you know, that's just the order I have them in.
So James, what's your final prediction for the first 2 picks?
You know what? I think it's going to be. I think they're going to take CeeDee Lamb. I think they're going to take him at number 11. And then at number 2, I think they're going to take Jackson from SC in the second-round pick. I think that's what they're going to do.
Awesome. Enjoy the draft, man. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Yep. All right, Joe, we'll stick with the phones here. We're getting caught up a little bit in here finally. We're going to go to Mr. Tyrone. Hold on a second. Tyrone, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's going on, fellas? First of all, I want to say something, Tyson, man. Your interview with Connor was amazing Saturday, bro. I listened to that thing like 3 times, bro. Like, no cap. It was really good, man. That was an amazing breakdown of the draft and what to expect. And the whole thing, man. It was really, really good. I'm excited for the draft, fellas. I'm really, I'm kind of like, the more I listen to everyone talk and the more I'm doing these mock drafts, I'm looking at stuff, I'm looking at players I haven't seen. I'm just hoping that we get 4 starters, that's what I'm hoping for. 4 or 5 starters or 4 or 5 players that can contribute day one.
Wait.
So
you want to get 4 or 5 starters out of this draft class?
Yeah, I really do. Or 4 or 5 players that can contribute. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, contributors are fine. I'll go contributors. I'm saying 5 starters.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, man. You know what I mean, man. I want contributors to come in and be a factor, and if that's the case, I at least want 5 of those. I think that this first pick's going to be really amazing. I think for me, the first 1 through 5 is really important this year. And that's going to really show me, the direction we're going into. I'm not looking to fix all the holes at one time. I've done a lot of these mock drafts trying to come up with scenarios of what to do or who would I get. And it's just, it's impossible to fix all.
So we'll just start with the offensive line. We've been talking about offensive line for months now, and now we have a failed drug test. Does that change your opinion on Becton at all?
Not really. I'm not as big on him as everyone else is. The drug test really isn't an issue for me. I just think that, you don't know what you're getting with this kid. You're not able to monitor his weight right now. You don't know if he's taking care of himself or he's just eating. They just passed the CBA, so there's no more drug tests anyway, so it really doesn't matter. A whole lot of players are probably getting high right now. So, that's not an issue for me. I think the biggest factor with him is if he comes in, can he produce from day one? Because you bring a kid like that in, you expect the guy to start from day one, and you expect him to produce from day one. And I think that if without OTAs and going straight to training camp, he doesn't pick the system up or something like that, then he's going to be a wash, and everyone's, it might cripple him. You know what I'm saying? If I had to go to tackle, I think Andrew Thomas is probably my first safest pick for us to take in the first round if that's where direction we're going to go. I just think that he's solid in every aspect of the game. I think he can step in. He comes from a championship pedigree. He's focused. You know what I'm saying? He's a quick learner, and he's played the position. You know what I'm saying? So but I think he'll be gone. My worst case scenario is I think all 4 tackles are going to be gone by the time we pick. Man, I think if the Giants and Tampa, Carolina or Cleveland take tackles, man, we're screwed. It doesn't matter who you want. It just depends who there. And I think that we might get a bad chance of actually not getting a tackle at all. But I think Andrew Thomas, if I had to make a pick, man, if I was picking 3rd, he would be my first pick. I just think that you know what you're getting with him. He's he's in the mold of the brick shot type, that can come in the last 10 years and be steady for us.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for calling in, Tyrone. And I hear you. Because let me tell you, I think the Giants, the Panthers, the Cardinals, the Jags, and the Browns are going to be in that market for tackles. I could see either one of those teams taking a tackle. And there's only 4 of them, 4 of the top guys right now. So it makes you wonder. So if we're sitting there at 11, and like you said, you want Andrew Thomas, I do as well. Would you be against trading up to get him? Say you have to give up 2 third-rounders. Would you be willing to do that?
I'll be honest with you, I really would prefer not to. And I got a scenario that I would think that you guys will probably kill me for, but I think if they're not there and you're not comfortable taking a receiver, I say trade back. And what I'm saying about, I wasn't sure about trading back at first, but I say trade back and what maybe like Denver or Atlanta. Pick up a 3rd and a 4th and get Carl Washington.
Hold on a second. You're not still not comfortable with what? What are we not comfortable with? Like a receiver at 11?
If Joe Douglas if he wasn't comfortable with a receiver at 11 and not being able to get the tackle that he wanted, if he felt that way, and he was like, okay, well, if Lamb, Judy, and Ruggs are all still on the board, I'm gonna call. Say he called Denver. You know what? I want a 3rd and a 4th. They give a 3rd and a 4th to move up. Then I'll take, whoever's left on the board out of those 3, I'll take one of those, and I'm calling Washington immediately. And I'm like, look, I got 3 third-round picks, man. Look, I'm going to give you 2 third rounds for Trent Williams today. What you want to do? And I go for Trent Williams. That solves the problem. But, like I said, so many different scenarios you can go down.
Yeah, and I hear you, Tyrone, but wouldn't you be better off taking a weapon because we're void of weapons offensively as well. Wouldn't you be better off just taking that elite weapon like Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb and then just trading one of the thirds we have and a fourth we have this year and getting Trent Williams?
I mean, my whole thing is this, fellas. You know, I've been pushing for a receiver the whole time. I'm just looking at what we need right now. So either way we go, I'm comfortable with. You know, if he takes CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy, I'm comfortable with that. I'm not really comfortable with Ruggs, but those two will be my preferred choice. You know, it's either Andrew Thomas or those two I'll be happy with. I just think that, you know, he's not, to me, I don't know if he's like a gadget player. I don't know if he's for sure. Like Ruggs with Lamb and Jeudy, man, you know, these guys are just straight monsters, man. They're gonna be top 15 receivers coming in, top 20 receivers coming in. Ruggs, I mean, he's hit or miss, you know what I'm saying? You know, those speed guys are just one-trick ponies. I've seen too many guys draft guys like that, and they don't be productive in the league. I think with Jeudy, he's an excellent route runner, and he's going to get open. I just think with Lamb, his upside is so amazing, right? And even his downside, even if he comes in his average, his catch radius, his movements, his run after the catch. But it's also another guy like in the second round, the Brandon Ayuk, that kid. Yo, if we could get him, bro. Oh my God, man! I mean, the kid it's a lot of players. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of players that are stuck in the third round that we can get and really be productive. But I really think that we need two receivers, and we need the kind of guys that can open it up for us. But I really want to solidify our line as well. I mean, I see Joe actually maybe even taking 2 tackles in the draft this year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, taking somebody later on the groom. I think he definitely wants to take an offensive lineman as well. But what scares me the most is we have so many holes to fill. I hope he doesn't get overly anxious and just try to fix everything. Fix the O-line. You know, you got to grab a cornerback because we need another cornerback to come in. And I don't think taking the cornerback in the 7th round is really going to help this team right now. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, you really need somebody that can come in and compete for a starting job the other side of this year. You need somebody that can come in and take that role. Everyone is counting on Bless Austin, but, I mean, put a little pressure on them, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got to give Sam weapons. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting draft, man. I think that, it's going to be what he does the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth round. I think it makes our team. But I'm thinking that he's talented enough to find some gems in there. And then, you know, also, fellas, no one's looking at, it's going to be a lot of good players that drop. It's going to be a lot of good players that drop. This draft right here, with all this corona stuff going on, and not being able to get these guys in the building, this is where you tell who's a good GM and who can evaluate talent. Yep. Teams that can evaluate talent are really going to be successful in this draft. And teams that just kind of fly by night or go by the guys' numbers are going to fail. So I'm really
what they said was, Tyrone, what they're really saying is that with the lack of doing physicals and a lot of interviews, that the undrafted free agent class could be epic because a lot of guys can be not drafted, and that's where they said Joe Douglas earned his money with the Ravens, like getting all these undrafted free agent guys and identifying all those kind of players where you can make some impact there.
Well, you know what's so crazy, Tyson? One thing I have to say about the Jets, we've been really lucky with getting undrafted free agents, so I'm cool with that. I mean, any way that you can get players in to come in and be successful. Yeah, well, listen, Tyson, I don't want to bet our future on undrafted free agents. I don't want that to be, man, we got 2 players. No, I don't want that. I want Joe Douglas to kill the draft and kill that as well. But I mean, like I said, man, everyone is excited. Everyone is just anxious. I mean, because we all want the same thing. We want our team to be improved.
So what's your prediction?
And I think that,
your prediction?
All right, I mean, depending on how the board shakes down, I mean, it will be Andrew Thomas and hopefully Brandon Ayuk, or it'll be CeeDee Lamb and maybe, I don't know if a tackle I like in the second round. I mean, I would if we can't get one in the first round, then I would really definitely try to trade or get Peters on the phone, or maybe. And if I did that, I would go with a tackle probably in the third. And what's the kid name from TCU? What is his name? What's the kid's name?
Jalen Reagor?
Yeah. No, the tackle. What is his name? The tackle. You know what I'm saying? But it's another kid I like too. Ben Birch from.
You talking about Lucas? from TCU?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Lucas
that's
Niang, I think it is.
Yang.
Yeah. That's it. But he would be somebody I think in the third round. I mean, because somebody that would need a year before he becomes actual starter.
I gotta ask this. How the hell do you know anything about Lucas Yang? What tape are you watching on this guy? What have you heard about this guy?
Hey, listen. Hey, bro, listen. Tyson, when I tell you, bro, I've been so bored, bro. Listen, Tyson, I'm telling you, I'm not joking, bro. I've been doing, like, pre-drafts, like, every single day, bro. I'm doing, like, 5, 6 of them a day, bro. Listen. And then the players I don't know, I'll put their name in, bro. I go to the highlights, bro. I'm sitting there checking scout breakdown of these kids. Bro. I got it bad, bro. This is how bored I am, bro. Listen. You know what's crazy? I'm gonna tell you guys something. I know I gotta go, but listen. I took my dog today for a walk, right? We ended up going about 8 miles, man, because that's how bored it was. My son was like, Dad, where you was? I said, bro, I had to get out the house, dog. I was going crazy. Like, yo, I'm just telling you. Like, look, it's so bad. My dog loves ice, right? So I gave him some ice. He just lay on the floor like, bro, you did me dirty. He hasn't moved all day, bro. I'm telling you, in the house, I did him wrong, man. Yo, please don't tell Peter, man. I didn't do anything wrong. He's just looking retarded right now. I'm just saying.
Tyrone, have a good night, man. Thanks for calling up. We appreciate it.
Hey, bro, love you guys, man. Enjoy the show. Hey, Tyson, but that interview was really amazing, man. It really was, bro. Keep it up, man. Y'all keep doing what y'all do.
Man. Okay, man. Thank you. All right, we will stick the phones. Remember, check us out on YouTube. Let's Talk Jets Radio. We're doing all kinds of Zoom stuff. Prime Time has got us doing Zoom. We had like a listener Zoom, which was complete chaos. And Joe, your boy Steve and Gangrene David and Panda, our Zoom call was nuts, man. It was just arguing and debating and all kinds of nonsense.
Yeah, first off, I want to thank Tyrone for calling in. It's always great to speak to him. Man, listen, there's just so many things flying around, so many opinions, so many people talking about this team and how to fix it, man. It's all great to listen to.
So we're going to go to Mr. NYSF Magazine down in sunny Florida. What's up, Jay?
You know what the best line of this whole night was? It was so underappreciated, and you guys didn't even comment on it, but I had to bring it back up. Your second caller tonight, I forget who it was, he said that this is the second best week of the year, draft week, besides opening day. And I started thinking, if there's not a more sad and true statement of being a Jets fan, is that we are like one of the only fan bases that the best week of our year is the draft and when we're 0-0. Other fan bases get to look forward to playoff games. But do you think they say the best? Think about what a Patriots fan would think of that comment.
But Jay, I would actually debate that and say the best week of the year for Jets fans is free agency because usually we blow the draft.
Ooh,
that's true.
Damn.
But everybody loves the draft anyway because we're always convinced that we drafted 7 All-Pro players, and 3 Hall of Famers. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that no matter what, no matter who we draft in the first round, the most sure thing on the planet is that 50% of Jet fans are going to love the pick and the other 50% are going to hate the pick. And for the next 3 days, everyone's going to be trying to kill each other over their takes on it, posting videos of why the guy stinks, posting videos of why the guy's a Hall of Famer. I'm here for it, man, because I'm bored as hell. This stuff is just brutal and it's giving us something to talk about, so I love it.
So, Jay, looking at this, there's a lot of rumors now, a lot of smoke screens, but the consensus is that offensive linemen are going to fly off the board in the first round, which could be a challenge for the Jets, especially with this failed drug test for Becton. How do you see this playing out, man?
Well, I mean, I think that we're going to wind up with Becton. I don't think that failed drug test is going to do too much to sway, to steer us away from him. I like Thomas. I'd like to. I don't think he's going to still be there, but that's my guy. But look, man, I'm going to trust in Joe Douglas. I'm going to put my, my instincts to the side that, assuming the worst case scenario is going to happen because it almost always does, and give the guy, he's a former offensive lineman. So, you just hope that he, that he can find us an offensive lineman that can protect Sam. I think that's the most important thing. I want a wide receiver as well. I think that Sam's going to lobby hard for Pittman. I like that Sam's got a rapport with Pittman. I know that Joe would love the more USC players, the better. We build a championship roster from USC players, and Joe's going to be a happy man over there. So I think that's how it's going to play. I think we're going to wind up with Becton and Pittman in the first 2 rounds. And that would be a beautiful thing as far as I'm concerned. You know, you just hope that those guys, you know, that they work out. I mean, you know, everybody that says, you know, the one counter argument I would say is everyone that says that Joe Douglas is going to just find us offensive linemen that are superstars and you know, and that offensive linemen recognize other offensive linemen. Well, I mean, John Elway's been trying to get a quarterback in Denver for a long time, so I mean, it doesn't always necessarily you know, translate into successful drafting or successful, you know, recognition of talent just because you played the position. So, you know, I'm cautiously optimistic, but at the same time, you know, my body's trained to assume the worst case scenario is that he's going to find us some bumps, and we're going to be complaining about it again next year. So we'll see. Hope he surprises us.
Yeah, and Jay, I want to thank you for calling in, man. You know I love talking to you about this team, and I hear your takes. There's a lot of people as well that have said that they would take Mekhi Becton, but let's say that he's not there. Let's say the top 4 tackles are taken. What are you doing then at 11? What are you taking?
You know, that's really tough. I think that if the top 4 guys are gone, that changes things. You know, I'm with you on your plan. I think that it's, like, really imperative that would change everything for sure if we could get, you know, if we could get Trent Williams on the squad. You know, it's like, you know, you get Trent Williams, you get that out of the way, you could draft a Judy or, you know, or the best wide receiver. But you could take the top 2 picks could be wide receivers. You could get Pittman and Judy. Imagine that. So, I mean, you know, it really opens up your options, and it really makes it, you could trade down. There's a million things you could do in that spot if you just go get Trent Williams. It makes so much sense, and I mean, to me, you know, you trade Trent Williams, and then you trade down, you could probably recoup the pick that you got to send away for Trent Williams. So let's say you move from 11 to 19, but you wind up with Trent Williams, and you know, you get a 3rd-round pick back, you trade a 3rd-round pick for Trent Williams. It's just, there's a lot of options at that point, so, you know, I would love that, but for whatever reason, you know, he's holding strong, and you know, hasn't made a move yet.
Well, I think he's holding strong. They're trying to get the best offer they can get, but now like the clock's working against them because now they have, 2 days left, and then the draft starts, and then they're going to start panicking because then what? You don't want to have him on your roster if you know you can't keep him, and then you're going to lose all your draft compensation. You know, it's like they're in a tough spot, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Redskins are going to have to do something. What you were saying before is spot on, Ty. What are they going to do? Hold on to him and then until after the draft, then get picked next year? You know, that doesn't make any sense. They're going to have to trade him, and they're running out of any kind of leverage, and they're running out of time. And he's certainly not going to suit up for the Redskins ever again, obviously. So, you know, we got a standstill over there, and I think that they're going to take whatever they can get for him. But my problem is that, like, it's not like if they lower their offer, if they lower their asking price, it's not like the Jets are going to be the only team calling. So, like, you know, maybe it makes sense to just if they can get him right now for a 3rd-round pick, why hold off and think, you know, whoa, maybe it'll drop to a 4th-round pick later on? I mean, if he's the guy you want, go get him. I mean, they keep talking about how aggressive he is and everything. Let's see it. Go make a move.
No, that's fair enough. Now, you can make a very good argument that the running back position is going to be a need with, you know, Montgomery and Bilal Powell still free agents, and you only have, Trenton Cannon and Josh Adams. At what round would you consider running back?
I mean, weapons. Just get me offensive weapons. But, you know, obviously running – we had an all-world running back last year, and the guy couldn't figure out how to use it. I mean, you know, like, what to me, like, what's the point? If you have Le'Veon Bell on your roster already and they can't even figure out a way to get him the ball and can't figure out a way to make him effective, then what are we doing drafting running back?
But now you got to bring in an Adam Gase running back. So what round would you consider that?
Do you know who's an Adam Gase running back? He's still available, and you can get for super cheap. That still has at least another year of tread on his tires. Just bring me Bilal Powell back, man. What's the problem? He looked great last year when they used him. He's sitting out there on the market. You can bring him back, and then you don't have to worry about it for this year. I have no idea, you know, what the thought process is. I know that Adam Gase, I know for a fact, and you know why I know for a fact. I know for a fact Adam Gase wants him back. So, you know, let's get him back.
Yeah, what does an Adam Gase running back look like? Goodness gracious, Adam Gase.
Every running back that ever played for him pretty much hates his guts.
Yeah, you know, I want to kind of move on from that. But Jay, when do you think we should address edge rusher, man? Because that's another need on this football team. And a lot of people want to go in those mid rounds. What round do you think we should try to take a swing at one of those?
I mean, it's hard to even speculate on a question like that, because I guess that the answer to that question is if some guy drops for some reason that, you feel like that is a real difference maker. Let's say you trade for Trent Williams. Like, there's so many unanswered questions. Let's say you trade for Trent Williams, right, and you take a wide receiver in the first round, and then the second round, somehow some edge rusher that you love drops to you and is available in the second round. Yeah, why not take a swing on that? I mean, it opens up that option because now you don't have to take a wide receiver because you had to take an offensive lineman in the first round. There's so much fallout. There's so many wonderful things that could happen if you bring Trent Williams on, who's, like, as far as I'm concerned, a sure thing. That, again, I keep going back to that, but that to me is the key piece to the puzzle here. You get him and you don't have to worry about it. So, yeah, I mean, but if you don't get Trent Williams, you can't, maybe one of the 2 third-round picks would be the earliest you could go in that spot, because I don't want to take defense at all with the first 2, picks at all. And I keep seeing people talking about linebackers and cornerbacks and stuff like that. I'm like, come on, dude. We at some point we have to invest in the offense. And as tempting as it would be if some guy dropped and was available, the best cornerback in the draft. What's his name from? I can't think of his name right now. It's been a long day, but
Okudah
from Ohio State. Yeah, exactly. So Okudah. So it's like if he dropped you, would that be a wonderful thing to have a number 1 shutdown corner on the team? Of course it would, but not at the expense of not having an offensive lineman to protect Sam Darnold, and not at the expense of not having a weapon for him. So. But again, you trade for Trent Williams, and it opens up those. I still wouldn't do in the first round, but it opens up those, those possibilities for edge rushers or to take some defense in the second round. So I think it moves it up by a round.
All right, Jay, what is your prediction for the first 2 picks?
Well, I said before. I mean, I think it's going to be Becton and Pittman. If I was gambling on it, I would think that Becton's the guy to me that's likely to be available when the Jets pick. And in the first round, and I don't see. I mean, when you look at those second-tier wide receivers that'll be available in the second round, you would think that, considering the relationship that he has with Sam. I mean, he already said if the Jets draft him, he wants to live with Sam Darnold. Give me that guy. Those guys have a good relationship and worked together before, and I'm sure they have a rhythm at this point. You put them out there on the field. These are guys who have played together. What's up?
Wow.
That'd be 2 guys.
Jay, go ahead. That was a disgusting cheap shot. Go ahead, Jay.
What a cheap shot. What a cheap shot.
Yeah,
this is why people call you negative, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, you should be more positive like me, Ty. What the hell are you doing over here, man?
Just another, another disgusting quip by Mr. Rouse. Just another
appreciate it.
Trash joke toes. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead. Just give us your take, because just don't mind this childish nonsense.
Those would be my if I was putting bets on it, I would bet that those are the 2 guys we wind up with, and I would consider that a very successful first and second round. I'd be really happy with that haul. I don't, like I said, I don't pretend to know of the top 4 offensive linemen. I mean, I know that each analyst has their reasons for liking one over the other. What the hell do I know about scouting offensive linemen? I know what I read in articles and what people tell me, is the best, like you say, Ty, all the time. I'm just a fan. I don't pretend to be some sort of analyst or something. So it's like, just give me guys that Joe Douglas likes, give me that play offense, and let's start to repair that offense. Let's build around Sam, and let's go out there and look like a real football team this year. That'd be wonderful. I'd like to see some fun football and see the offense score some points.
Thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the draft. I'm sure I'll talk to you on Thursday.
Yeah. So what's going on? I didn't see any updates. Are you guys doing a live Zoom party during it? Or
That's prime time. See, we get prime time, all these responsibilities, and now we're stuck coordinating all of it. So we got to get prime time back on his job over there, organizing our Zoom stuff on Thursday. Killing us.
Yeah, let's get that together, man. Let's get a move on that. I want to see some
over there.
I want to see the immediate reactions when we draft a defensive lineman with the number 11 pick. I need it in my life. I got to see these reactions. I can't just get text reactions. This is the year 2020.
My screen will go black. You're going to see.
This is the year 2020. We don't group text each other and communicate through tweets anymore, man. I got to see your smiling faces on draft night, man. We got to make this happen.
Have a good night, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, guys. Later.
All right, 929-477-2651. We'll be doing a show Saturday night, 8 o'clock, kind of recapping all the draft chaos and everything else. So I'm not sure. We didn't tell Kevin yet. So now Kevin knows. Saturday night, 8 o'clock, we'll be doing a draft show to recap all things going on. Maybe Thursday night, some kind of Zoom stuff. I have no idea, but I guarantee if we're doing a Zoom, I'm drinking beer. So they will be cursing in our videos. I can guarantee you that. Because I'm not going to try that. What is this? Yeah, it is what it is, man. So we're gonna go to. See, now Steve made a mistake, Joe. He's tweeting us that he's waiting. He's taunting us now.
Oh boy.
Come on.
Well, I love talking to you.
What's up, Steve?
Hey guys, how you doing tonight? Happy draft week.
How you doing, man? How you hanging in there, right?
I'm doing okay, doing all right. I mean, we're all hanging in there through this cold time right now, but it's draft week.
So now, I want to bring Primetime on for a second because, Kev.
What's up?
Didn't Steve call out Joe in our Zoom meeting we had on Saturday?
No, he did.
No, I did not.
Yes,
I
you
have
did.
the audio. I have the audio as proof.
Should we play it to
the ridiculous idea would be to trade Jamal Adams. And you said you were going to stand up to him. Yeah, you said you were going to stand up to him tonight. I'm ready for it.
Okay, well, listen. Listen, the one thing, here was the thing. But I wasn't going to argue with Joe about it. We were going to be very respectable, and we would talk about our opinions.
That's not what you said at all.
I'm not arguing with Joe.
You said his take was stupid, that his reasons for trading him were dumb.
I didn't say it was stupid. It was his opinion.
You did. You were feeling
No, I
oath
did
on
not.
Saturday,
That's
man.
ridiculous.
Yes, you were. You're like, I'm going to tell Long Beach Joe I'm not backing down. It's exactly what you said.
Oh, my God. Like, are we going over this of what we said on Saturday?
See, as Joe always says, we record everything. We always have the audio proof. See, this is where audio hurts people, Joe.
I want to thank Steve for calling in. I don't think that's what Steve said, man. I don't believe that. I don't believe
it.
Man.
We got the audio.
The audio. Listen, Steve is a good guy. I know he wouldn't say a thing like that. I'm very sure he was excited, just to talk draft with you folks. And I feel like you guys are trying to turn it around. I haven't heard this audio. You wouldn't have said anything like that, would you, Steve?
No. And Joe, let me just say something to you. I understand where you're coming from. I understand where I'm coming from. I understand where Tyson and Kevin are coming from. Just here's the thing, Joe. Listen, I understand why you want to do this whole thing with the trade scenario with Jamal Adams so we can get picked. But, Joe, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, we can't trade Jamal Adams because the goal is we need to build the defense around him. So, but Joe, I respect your opinion of where you're coming from because I know you respect me.
Yeah. Look, and I hear you, Steve. I hear what you're saying.
What a difference a day makes.
What
a difference a day makes. Tyson, shut up.
Ooh. Hey, man, you
were talking tough to Tyrone, and he was like,
Exactly. Tell him, Kevin. Kevin, you were there, Kevin. You witnessed all of it. Kevin, tell him.
No, I heard all of it. Like I said, you told us that you were going to come on here tonight and set Joe straight. So I'm waiting for it.
Well, look. Either way, listen. I hear what you're saying, Steve. I hear what you're saying. Listen, I understand that everyone is emotional about Jamal. I understand. People say he's the face of the franchise. No, listen. If the safety is the face of your franchise is in trouble. We have so many needs on this football team. I understand people love Jamal. He's a fan favorite. He relates to you. He tweets you back when you tweet him. He's always doing the media. He's always front and center. He's a good player. We are void of talent at many positions. If we had a pass rusher, if we had a corner, if we had, any kind of weapons offensively, we would be so much better off. And to do that, we can gain great capital and value if we move on from him. Because he's a great player. But at the end of the day, he's a safety. He's a safety. That's what he is. He's not going to turn into a shutdown corner. He's not going to turn into an elite pass rusher. He doesn't play wide receiver. These are positions that we need and we need now. Because I'm not just looking at this year, Steve. That's not what I'm just looking at. I'm looking at years to come. I'm looking at next year when we have to give Sam a whole lot of money. If we never protect him, if we never give him weapons, if we never give him a chance to ascend to anything, how are we ever going to give him a deal? How are we looking? The face of the franchise should be our franchise quarterback. We'll go no further than Sam can carry us. We'll go no further than that. We will always be losers until we find that quarterback that's going to take us to the next level. And I've said this before. I have never seen a safety drag a team to a playoff or a Super Bowl win. Never seen it. But I've seen quarterbacks do it before. We are in an offensively driven league, and our team is ranked 32nd in the league. 32nd. Last. Dead last. And this is a league that has rebuilding teams that have traded off talent that we're trying to lose in it. And we're still worse than them. We can't do this. We gave up a lot of capital for Sam. Multiple second-round picks. We're just going to throw that all away? We've got to do what we can to build this football team. We've wasted far too much time. Mike Maccagnan farted around way too long. You wasted too many years of Sam's rookie deal. You must do what you can to surround him, and not just him with talent, but you can make the team better as a whole. We're void of pass rusher, void of corner. We need that. We need that help now. Not to even imagine the guys, not to even talk about the guys that are on one-year deals. We need to replace that talent as well. A lot of those guys are not going to resign here. So that's where I'm coming from, Steve. And I hear you, and I know, you know, Kev and Tyson, they're trying to get on your back right now. You're saying they're putting words in your mouth, you know. But
the cool thing is we have the audio. We'll play the audio. We'll save it for the next show. That was all the audio. We have all the clips loaded up for Steve.
Why don't we do this? Because I believe in Steve. I know he wouldn't say anything crazy like that. Why don't we, the next show when Steve calls in, we'll play the audio live and we'll listen to it. Because I know Steve, and I know you probably did something, Ty, to try to turn him. You probably said something crazy and you put words in his mouth.
Actually, what was happening, he was arguing with Gangrene David. We were just sitting there minding our own business. He was trying to issue his hot takes out. He hijacked the entire show. He was firing out all his takes. Then he put you. He was like, "Oh, I'll tell Walt Beach Joe." We're like, "All right, you go ahead. We're just sitting there recording stuff." We got it all on
never do that. I have his back. I stand for him. He knows that he would never. You
have it today.
He would never burn me.
You have it today.
He would never burn me.
Once the audio comes
I
out.
have faith in Steve.
Hey, well, listen. Listen, I want to get this thing up the Jamal Adams situation just out of the way now, because I want to get my chance to talk about what I feel about this draft.
Well, go ahead, it's your show. We're just listening.
All right, everybody's all saying, when we're talking about the draft, situation is, it's either going to be for the Jets, either offensive line or wide receiver. Now, there's a reason why I don't want to take the guy Beacom from Louisville, and someone mentioned this earlier on to the show. It's his size, and also with the fact of the drug test situation, because the thing is, when you're that size, when you're 300, and I think he's 370 plus, but he's 6'7", and the problem is, as he gets older, it starts to slow his body down. One of the reasons why I wouldn't actually want him. If I would go after offensive line, my first choice would definitely be Andrew Thomas.
Yeah, but Steve, with Becton, the one thing about his size, for the future, like the immediate future, he could just completely maul guys. I mean, it's the athletic ability.
No, he can.
Big man, he could just. So if you get a good 4 or 5, 6 years out of it, that's all you really. Okay.
He has potential to be good in the NFL, but I'm also a big fan of Andrew Thomas, though.
So what if Andrew Thomas is gone?
If Andrew Thomas is gone, if let's say if Beacom is gone, and let's just say that I'm really big on.
No, Steve, just go like this: go Wirfs, Wills, and Thomas are gone. So it's either Becton or then what?
Then I would pick one of the receivers. I love CeeDee Lamb.
So you would wow, okay. So you'd rather you'd leave Becton there, you'd go wide receiver, and then go offensive line in the second round?
I would go offensive line in the second round and get the guy Jones, the Jones who's supposed to go in the second round.
So then would you, If that's the case, would you stay at 48, or would you try to move up to make sure you get the guy you want in the second round?
Oh, see that now that's gonna be tough. But the thing is, like, it would be a risk to trade up. I think I would to go after Jones. But let's say if someone takes him earlier in the second round, then I think the Jets should do something at 48, or they can possibly do the thing with the Trent Williams, with the situation with Trent Williams. I mean, and you mentioned this earlier about the thing with Ngakoue. I really don't think the Jets should go after him because, I mean, listen, he's young and all that stuff, but at the same time, I think Ngakoue, what's going to happen is, let's say if the guy from Jacksonville in the trade.
If you can get him for a third-round pick, would you do it?
If I could get him for a third-round pick, sure, I would do it. But my only issue is, if when he would come to the team, is how much money is he going to ask for?
Well, I mean, that for a player like that, man. I mean, I'll pass it to Joe, but a player like that's a young pass rusher on the rise, man. I mean, pass rusher. You're gonna, unless you draft one, you're gonna have to pay out your tail for one. I mean, what do you think, Joe?
Out of your nose. Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna pay out of your nose. I've talked about that before. That's why it's so big, I think, to address pass rusher in the draft. You get a young guy in, on a cheaper deal than you would get in free agency, and he's able to give you some years of production. So, Ngakoue is an interesting name for a third-round pick. That'd be enticing, but, again, you also got to think about how much he'd be asking for. But, Steve, what round would you address corner? Because I know that some fans are looking in and saying, hey, we need some corners as well. What round are you drafting one?
Possibly in round number 5 or 6, because right now for the first part of this draft, like for the first half of the draft, I want the Jets to focus on the offensive side of the ball. Because we do have to find a way to build an offense around Sam.
All right, Steve. So you're now Joe Douglas. The first and second round picks. What's your prediction?
Well, my prediction at number 11 is that I actually believe that the Jets will pick wide receiver from Oklahoma, CeeDee Lamb. In the second round, I'm going to go with the offensive tackle, Jones.
Cool. Enjoy the draft, man. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you very much. Joe, I love you, man. Good night.
Hey, have a good one, man.
All right, we'll make sure we have that audio ready for next week, and we're going to go to our next caller. Joe, it was so funny, man. We were sitting there, and it's like, it was a bunch of us, like five people on there, and he just took over, and he's like, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell him. I'm like, all right, let's hear it.
Well, look, first off, I want to thank Steve for calling in. I listened to a little bit. I don't think I got to that part, but I tell you what, I don't think that Steve said those things. I trust Steve.
Oh.
He knows that I stand for him. He would never say nothing like that. I think you putting words in his mouth, and I think you and Kevin just tried to attack him, man. I do.
But we'll see. We have audio proof finally. He fell right into our trap. We're going to go to our good friend Justin. Justin, what's up, man?
Oh, my. What was I listening to right there? I mean, come on, bro. Back your point up. I mean, I think Tyson and Kevin are just right on. I mean, you want to talk, but you got to back it up. Let's get into this draft talk now.
So, Justin, does the failed drug test bother you, or would you take Becton?
I'm going to keep it 100 right now. I don't think Becton's going to even be on the board when we pick at 11. I think the option right now is going to be to take a receiver, potentially maybe Okudah drops. I'm not saying that's going to be the pick, or you got to get in front of the Browns to get that fourth guy, which I think my number one guy is Andrew Thomas, which I don't think he's going to be on the board. I don't think that's even an option. I think the Giants are going to take him. But to be honest with you, I don't think these four guys are going to be there if we stay at 11.
Yeah. And first off, Justin, I want to thank you for calling in. Would you trade up, to get one of those guys? Say you have to give up 2 third-round picks. Are you willing to do that to get one of those tackles?
I'm going to be honest with you. I got to see who's left on the board, and I got to see what the compensation is. So, I mean, I can't really give you a strict answer. You want to say hypothetically 2 third-rounders to move up? I mean, what are we moving from? 11 to what? What are you saying, Joe?
Let's say you can move up from 11, get in front of the Browns. So let's say you move up from 11 to 8 or 9. Are you willing to do that?
Oh, who's on the board?
let's say Becton and
if Thomas
Becton
is on
and
the
Wirfs
board,
are still on the board.
Oh, Wirfs, I do like him, but I really don't think he's going to be on the board. 2 third-rounders? I mean, it depends. It depends. Are you saying definitely the receivers are on the board? All 3 receivers are on the board at 11?
Yeah, all 3 receivers still on the board. But you're seeing these tackles slide off the board. You're sitting there. The Browns clearly are ahead of us, and we go, whoa. The Browns, you're sure that the Browns are going to take a tackle. All you got to do is move up to 8 or 9 or jump them so you can get to 8, 2 third-round picks.
I mean, if Wirfs is on the board, then you don't have a choice. If he's ranked that high on your board and Joe Douglas thinks that's it, you don't really have a choice. If Becton's ranked that high on your board, I really don't think you have a choice yet. You have to do it. But, I mean, if we stay at 11, I don't know. It depends. And to be honest with you, I don't think I would trade for Trent Williams. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I'd rather use that third-rounder. And you guys mentioned Ndagwe. I think that's playing with fire, too. I mean, I would do it for a third-rounder for Ndagwe because the risk is worth it for a third-rounder. But I don't think I'd do a third-rounder for Trent Williams, to be honest with you.
A third-rounder for a starting left tackle?
I think I'd rather take the rookie. If Joe Douglas is really this good with linemen, I'd rather take the lineman on a rookie contract than Trent Williams. I mean, I don't know. I get nervous about him with the injury without playing for a year, and he's getting up there in age. I really don't think. I'd rather have the rookie on a rookie contract.
All right, so if you go offensive lineman in the first round, who are some receivers you want in the second round, and will you have to trade up to get them?
I'll be honest with you. I think we're going to be forced to trade up in the second round. I think we're going to talk about that a little bit more because I think there's not enough guys where our pick is 16 in the second round, I believe. I think that's too big of a gap where there's going to be playmakers that can make a big difference on this team. Kevin mentioned giving up picks for next year. I think it's a no-brainer to give up picks for next year. I think it would be nonsense if we don't come away with at least 2, maybe even 3 receivers for Sam this year.
No, I tend to agree with you too, man. I think it's the same boat. Like that wait till 48 is a long time, and I wouldn't be opposed to moving up in the second round either, man. To get the guy that you definitely want and get that value. I completely agree with you, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I mean, third rounder, I think we should go maybe a guy like Hennessy in center or the guy from LSU center. I mean, if you can come away with, let's say hypothetically, Becton, let's just say, or any of the linemen, Thomas, Wirfs, a receiver, and a guy like Hennessy, that maybe you can shift McGovern over and Hennessy becomes your center. If you can get those 3 guys in the first 3 rounds, I think that's knocking it, or something like that. That's knocking it out of the park for the first 3 rounds. And I honestly think those 3 guys like that can be a realistically on the board and a potential landing spot for us. So, I mean, these first 3 rounds we could really get some difference makers.
Yeah. What would you consider running back? Go ahead, Tyson.
No, what about running back, Justin?
No, I said this again. We don't have no running back. No, we don't even know how to use the running back we have. We have an all-purpose. We just don't have enough picks for that. The fourth, 5th, 6th round pick, those maybe get another third receiver. That's where you take a flyer on an edge rusher. But the priority is offensive line and receiver. Honestly, I don't even think I'm taking a running back. I get it. You need someone explosive. We have someone explosive. We just don't have a coach that knows how to use them. I get it. We need an explosive running back, maybe in the 6th rounder, whatever. But, I don't think we have enough picks for that. I think we might even need to take a punter over a running back. I'd probably prioritize that even more.
When are you taking a corner?
It's got to be I think it's got to be offense in the first 3 rounds, unless maybe a rusher. But I think 4 or 5. Those are where you go corner, rusher. Those are the rounds you got to go. Rusher, cornerback. I don't think we have much of a choice here with those positions.
So, what is your prediction for the first 3 picks?
I'm going to go, something, I don't know, something just tells me everyone just wants the sexy pick with CeeDee Lamb, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think Judy might be a better better all-around fit right now for the team. So I'm going to go with first round, we get Jerry Jeudy. Second round, we go, let's say, maybe Jackson. And then third round, it's got to be a receiver. Maybe, I don't see Sam's boy from USC falling, so maybe Mims. I don't know who's going to be there in the third round. See, that's where it gets tricky. I think there's going to be a run of receivers in the second round. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't predict that one, but those are my picks for the first round. At least Judy's going to be the pick, not CeeDee Lamb.
Justin, thanks for calling in, man. Enjoy the draft.
Yeah, have a good time.
All right, Joe, we're now going to bring on Mr. Primetime to get his draft takes. Primetime, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? Hopefully we can avoid the fights tonight.
Did the tone of the show surprise you? This is not what I expected tonight.
Yeah, dude, I was very surprised. I thought this was just going to be like all, draft picks, analysis, stuff like that. Fans fired up, and yeah, it started out right away, and it's been going pretty much the same way ever since.
So now we talked about this on Saturday, but we'll cover some of it again with Joe. The offensive lineman, my personal opinion is there's going to be a run on them. I just think that there's a lot of need, and this failed drug test is kind of a curveball. How do you see this playing out?
Yeah, I mean, we all know Joe Douglas is a character guy, so, if this is a drug... I mean, we don't know what the failed drug test was for, so again, if it was for something serious, yeah, it has to absolutely, I think, knock him down or maybe even completely off the board, in round 1 or round 2. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping there's not a run on O-line because I think that's the direction that Joe Douglas wants to go in, just based off everything we've been hearing. I know it could be a lot of smokescreen, but I think that's just the way he wants to build his team from the trenches out. And if one of his top 2 guys is there, maybe even top 3, if we're looking at Wills, Wirfs, and Andrew Thomas, I don't see how he could pass up one of those guys.
Yeah. Now, Kev, I couldn't wait to talk to you. Say we do take that lineman at 11. You're looking at that second round. What are you taking there, man? Is that when you start to pick up wide receivers?
Yeah, it has to be, and I'm with you there. I mean, whether it's just round 2 or even, round 2 and both picks in round 3, I don't care. Get 2 receivers, get 3 receivers, whatever you got to do. It's going to be interesting, though, because there's definitely going to be a run of receivers, I think, after the Jets pick in round 1, where you're looking at guys like Justin Jefferson, Denzel Mims, Jalen Reagor, Brandon Ayuk, possibly all 4 of those guys, maybe even T. Higgins also. They could all be off the board by the time the Jets pick at 48. And so if you don't get your receiver at 11, I think it's almost imperative that Douglas finds a way to trade up either into the late first round or early second round to get one of those guys, because I think there's a bigger drop-off from those guys than there is from, the top of the class down.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. To me, I worry about runs at both positions, where it's a run at offensive lineman and a run at wide receiver, and how Joe Douglas responds to that. Like, he's going to have his value charts, but if you want to get those playmakers or guys you covet, he may have to be aggressive. What other areas of position? What other positions do you see him going for? Say they go offensive line round 1, wide receiver round 2. What do you see in round 3?
I see round 3 probably another wide receiver, and then probably interior O-line. A guy that I really liked early on in the process. I know he was talked about in the first round. He's been dropping a lot, I think, on a lot of boards since, just because of some injury concerns. The guy Netani Muti, I think he benched like 40 times on the 225 bench press. Just ridiculous physical specimen. So a guy like that, if you can get him in here as an immediate starter on the interior, or even someone like Tyler Biodash or Matt Hennessy, who's got some versatility, center and guard, I think any of those guys could be an option. But again, it really all comes down to the scheme fit and how Adam Gase views these guys fitting in.
Yeah. Now, Kev, what are you taking a corner? What round of Gase? What are you taking a corner, and who exactly are you targeting?
Well, I think what it's going to come down to with corner is if there's any truth, first off, to the Logan Ryan rumors, then you still have a decision really to make, I guess, on Nate Hairston. He's due about $2 million this year. Do you view him as somebody that can compete with Millette and Bless Austin? But yeah, I mean, I think cornerback's just going to have to kind of go on the back burner if you want to look at round 5, round 6, something like that. We got Bless Austin, who was able to compete as a rookie last year, and that was coming off a bunch of injuries that he had. So it's not impossible, to get a late round corner and have them come in and compete. And I think that if we're talking about trying to find a premium asset at corner, it's going to have to be next year. But if you're looking this year, maybe a guy like Dane Jackson, who's got some good man cover skills out of Pittsburgh. in the 5th, 6th round, maybe somebody like him. So, yeah, I don't see corner being much of a priority early on.
So, Kevin, in your world, do you see the Jets, is there any scenario where the Jets could go wide receiver in round 1 and then go offensive line round 2? Do you see a scenario that happens?
Yeah, absolutely. And that would be my first preference. And the way they would do that is by knowing that, Trent Williams is on the table. If Joe Douglas has in mind that he can make that happen, there's your answer. Go get your wide receiver, the best playmaker you can get at pick 11. And that's what we've been talking about for months, really, on this show. The idea of getting either a Trent Williams or a Conklin, just a couple more solidified pieces on that offensive line so that you have the flexibility on draft night to take a Judy or a Lamb or a Ruggs, whoever, your preference is.
Well, what if they go Lamb at 11, and then a second round they don't trade for Trent Williams and they trade up and get a Josh Jones? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think that, it's very hard to, for Joe Douglas, you need the best player at 11. That comes first and foremost. You can't screw that pick up. But to a certain degree, yeah, you do have to evaluate where a lot of these guys are going to be going in rounds 2 and rounds 3. Otherwise, if you're taking a receiver at 11, but you don't like any of the guys in rounds 2 and rounds 3, that would make sense. But if you think you can get a starting receiver in rounds 2 and rounds 3, maybe you prioritize the offensive line. So it's going to be interesting how Joe Douglas decides to go about it. I'm just kind of like you. I want to see offense, so whichever order he goes in, I'm not going to overanalyze it like crazy.
Yeah. And I know we're talking about moving up in round 2, but if, let's say Joe Douglas really covers a guy in round 1, what's the most value you'd like to see him give up, Kev, to actually move up to grab that guy? What is the most that you think he should give up?
You're talking about moving up in round 1, like in the top 10, or moving back into the latter part of round 1?
No, moving up. Like, say we're moving from 11 up until, that, like you said, that top 10. What is the most you'd like to see him give up?
I would be against that completely, just because I think the Jets are in a good spot right now at 11. Unless Douglas has a huge drop-off between, the top 2 offensive linemen, I think there's a good chance he might be able to get, the 3rd or 4th guy. So, yeah, and otherwise, you still have the option to take a wide receiver, which is definitely a need, possibly getting the best one in this class. So, if you're talking about giving up anything more than, a 3rd-round pick to move up a couple spots, I don't think the Jets are in position to do that.
All right, prime time. What are your predictions for the first 3 picks?
Well, it sucks because pretty much every guy that I was going to mention has been picked already tonight. Andrew Thomas, I think that has to be the pick if he's there at 11. I don't know if he will be. But I do think one of him or Wills will be there at 11, and I think, Joe Douglas will not be able to pass up one of those guys as much as it might be the sexy pick to go receiver, and as tempting as it would be, and as much as I think most Jet fans would probably love that. I think he's just going to go the smarter, safer route and go with the offensive lineman. Probably Thomas if he's there, and if not, it'll be Wills, I think. And then round 2.
All right.
I still see them trading up in round 2. I still see them trading up in round 2. Again, I would like to see maybe the 2nd-round pick this year and then the 3rd next year, or if you're talking about moving up, considerably into the, really early part of round 2 or even late round 1, if a guy like Justin Jefferson somehow drops to the late 20s, I'd be all over him. Same thing with Denzel Mims and Jalen Reagor. If they're there in the early 30s, you move up to get them, and I think there's your receiver. Otherwise, if you're staying put, you're probably looking at Michael Pittman, which everybody's mentioned. And then in round 3, I'm sticking with Netani Moody, getting that interior O-lineman, and then probably going with another receiver after that. Maybe a Donovan Peoples-Jones or a Tyler Johnson, somebody like that.
Prime time, good stuff as always, man. How was it doing this Zoom on Saturday? You have a good time?
Oh, yeah, dude, it was fun. And just so everyone knows, Thursday night, 8 o'clock, as soon as the draft starts, I'll turn it on live. We'll put out the information, the meeting ID, and the password. So if you want to join, just hop right in. And, yeah, we'll keep it live most of the night and then post the reactions afterwards.
Cool. Prime time. Thank you, my friend.
Yep, no problem.
All right, Joe, we're going to go to Matt in Columbus, Ohio. What's up, Matt?
All right.
Hi, Tyson. Hi, Joe. This is Mac, MAC, in Columbus. How you doing?
My bad. How you doing, man?
Good. Hey, all I wanted to say, guys, I'm all in for... Go ahead.
No, give us your thoughts on the draft. We're good.
I'm all in for offensive linemen, but this kid from Louisville has me really scared for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think it's a real bad look if you can't not smoke for a couple of months before you get picked by an NFL team. And number two, I'm just concerned that this guy's going to drop to us, and at 6'7", 360, he's going to be a towering tub of injuries. I mean, that's just too big. It's just too heavy. You're getting chopped. You're getting rolled up on. I just don't like it. But that being said, I trust Joe Douglas, and I think hopefully our many years in the wilderness of clueless picks and bust might be over, and we might actually have a decent draft.
So, Mac, if he's there, if Becton's there, you would pass on him and go wide receiver, or how would you handle offensive line?
Tyson, what I'm saying is I don't know if he's the last tackle there at 4. I don't know that I want him because of the reasons that I stated. Now, if Douglas wants to move up, if he wants to move up and get a guy, or, the one fortunate thing for us, this is a deep draft in linemen and wide receivers, which are 2 positions of need. But I'm really, personally, man, give me a wide receiver with the second 2 picks. I really want to see us get a really good lineman with that first pick, and whatever it takes to do that. I don't know that I like this kid from Louisville, though. That's all I was saying there.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and Mac, I want to thank you
who are
for
some
calling.
wide receivers? Oh, sorry. Okay, Joe.
Yeah. And Mac, I want to thank you for calling in, man. I hear you. There's many people have worries about him as well. Like you said, the weight, the size, the drug test as well. But you go into that second round, who are you targeting there at wide receiver? Like, what wide receivers exactly would you like to see the Jets draft?
Hey Joe, you got your boy at USC. I'm happy with him. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't get too wrapped up into the 25,000 mock drafts and all this other stuff, because no one ever knows how it's going to play out. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, like I said, I put my trust in Joe, and I'm stopped. I've been doing this a long time with the Jets, and it's not an easy job. And I'm trying to take some of the load off some of myself by unburdening some of the burden here with the draft. You just got to let it play out.
That's one way of looking at it, man, because it does become stressful, and you're like, oh, don't blow this, don't blow that, and please, hopefully this works out. That's one way of looking at it, man.
And we always screw it up. And I'm really trusting that we got the right guy at the helm now. I mean, I go back to Lamb Jones, guys, but just the last 10 years, or going back to Vernon Golson is enough to put you 6 feet under or quit the damn Jets.
Oh.
I mean,
no, dude,
it's a horror show. It's a horror show.
Do you want to make a prediction? Your prediction for the first 2 picks?
No, I don't want to make I don't want to make a prediction because, like I said, guys, I haven't put too much time and effort into that. I haven't been looking at video. I haven't been doing mock drafts, all that crap. One thing I'd like to say, though, I haven't heard anybody else say this. There's been all this fighting back and forth about whether we go lineman or receiver at first pick. But for me, we got to build that core. We've been most successful when we had that good line. And one thing I haven't heard anybody mention is we got this highly paid running back who couldn't do nothing last year. If we can give Sam a little more protection, having him take a few less shots, like his sophomore year at USC when he was getting killed. Remember that, Joe? Have him taking a few less shots. Yeah, there was nobody to block for him. It was like the Jersey. It was like having one of them U passes on the turnpike.
Man.
The other thing, if we give him a little more protection, a little more time, how about we use this underutilized asset last year, Le'Veon Bell, and let's not forget what a good receiver he is. If Sam's got 0.5 seconds to dump the ball off to him, it was ridiculous last year. and Le'Veon Bell, our high-priced free agent, was wasted. So let's invest in the line. There's plenty of receivers to go after. You know, we're going to get better with a better line with Le'Veon Bell being more part of an offense if our coach figures out a way to use him, unlike last year, which was annoying as hell.
No, I completely agree with you, man. A better line changes up everything. Changes your play calling, changes up Le'Veon Bell, changes up everything. So, Mac, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, nice talking to you guys. Take care.
Too. Yeah, that's something, Joe. When we kind of like assume that at this point, where it's like the offensive line, a trickle down for that. You can run the ball, you can run the clock, you can do all kinds of stuff, which is something they desperately need to do. You know, as we go, as we start looking at things, I guess we can look at, you know, our own personal predictions. I guess, and Joe, if you want to go first, you can share yours, your first like 2 or 3 picks for the Jets.
Yeah. So, well, first off, I want to thank Mac for calling in as well. It's a good call, and I've talked about that as well. The need for the offensive line to also help Le'Veon Bell and his ability. If we don't open any holes for this guy, you know, he's useless outside of just not being used at all. You know, he really is going to be useless. Saw him take a lot of shots early last season because there were just guys hanging off him, and we were like, this guy's not going to make it through the season if we keep doing that. So, yeah, it would definitely benefit you guys. So, my first picks, I'm actually going to have 4 picks. I'm going to tell you why. It's because I'm going to trade Jamal Adams. And so my 11th pick, I'm not going to have to worry about left tackle because I'm trading for Trent Williams. If I'm Joe Douglas, that's what I'm doing. I'm not playing around with this anymore. Let's shore that spot up. So you trade for Trent Williams. You give him a 3rd and a 4th. Done. Right? Jerry Jeudy, because I think he's going to be there. I think CD's probably going to be off the board by the end. So first pick, Jerry Jeudy. Trading Jamal Adams to the Cowboys. Then I'm drafting Henry Ruggs. 2nd round pick, I'm drafting Pittman. So I have Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and Pittman. My wide receiver position is set. I'm done. 3rd round, because I have 1 3rd-round pick left. Well, I mean, unless you get, like, more picks for Adams. I'm thinking, like, a 1st and some change for Adams. But let's say I have 2 3rd-round picks because I got rid of Adams. That's where I'm going. I could go interior offensive lineman. I might look at I might look at a guy, I think it was Cadbury, I think his name is, or Cooperberry. Forgot the kid's name, but he's a offensive line prospect that could be there. I know Hennessy is a guy that people talk about as well that could be there. Cushenberry, I think is his name. He might be a guy I might be interested in, but I'm definitely going to look at probably interior offensive line, and then I'm going to address edge rusher. So I've bettered my offensive line with Trent Williams, and I've gotten 3 really good wide receivers to give Sam weapons. So my offense is pretty much fixed.
Fair enough. And this is interesting. This draft is fascinating because you have like what you want to happen, you have like what your heart thinks, and you have what reality is. It kind of drives you crazy. And for some reason, my instinct tells me that there's going to be a run on offensive lineman. It just worries me, and that's kind of what I think is going to happen. I try to talk myself out of it, and like, you know, listen to the analysts. And Andrew Thomas is a guy that plays left tackle. He played there. He played well. Everybody wants that. So I have a hard time thinking he's going to fall to 11. I just honestly don't think it's going to happen. Everybody seems to be high on because of athletic ability. Wills, it's like, all right. So Becton is kind of the X factor, and now it's like, all right, do I want Becton or do I want that number 1 receiver? And I've been going back and forth with this every day. Like, I drive myself crazy, and I'm saying, you know what? I'm going receiver, and I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb. I'm just going to go that guy and kind of take the route you took, Joe, where it's like, listen, I want that explosive playmaker for Sam, and I can make a case for Ruggs, too, both of them. Either I want Lamb and Ruggs over Jeudy. That's my personal preference, just as I want explosive, just get the ball in their hands and let them fly, which is where the NFL is going. So I'm going to go there. Then my 2nd-round pick is Trent Williams, and that's where if I have to go a 2nd-round pick to get him, I do it. And just say, you know what, we don't have a choice. You know what I mean? If you go receiver, then and if you can't get Trent Williams there, then I'm trading up aggressively for the best available offensive lineman. And I think at that point, it's probably going to be Josh Jones. It could be Ezra Cleveland. It could be either one. Like, I think you're going to be kind of stuck there because if there's a run early in the 1st round, that means all those other guys could go later in the 1st round. Then you're really going to be stuck. So if you go receiver, you got to really hope you can get Trent Williams, or you have to be aggressive to trade back up and get those guys. So that's kind of the plan. I'm gonna go Lamb and either Jones or Cleveland. that way, and then just Plan B is clearly trying to get Trent Williams because it's gonna be sketchy, man.
Yeah, it is, and that the thing for me with Becton, and the reason why I want to trade for Trent Williams so bad, is I think that I love Andrew Thomas and I hope that he's there, but tells me that he might not be. That would be my plan B. I mean, my second draft, without trade for Trent, of course, I want to take Andrew Thomas at 11, then address wide receiver, in the second round, or take Andrew Thomas, then with our second first round pick, because I'm still trading Jamal Adams, then I would address wide receiver, then I would address wide receiver again in the second. But the thing with Becton that scares me is that it's two things. It's one, it's his weight and his size. I understand people like big maulers and stuff like that, but the movement that you have to make as an offensive lineman, for him to be that big, that weight, that's big on his joints. That's big on his move. It's not going to be like that. He either is going to have to lose quite a bit of that weight, or he's going to be in pain a lot. He can't play at those weights here. He can't do that. Not in the NFL. Cannot play like that. And then it's also the drug test. I know other people are saying, hey, they're not worried about it. I am, because that tells you something. Like, the fact that he can't, whatever he popped for, the fact that he can't stay away from that during this stretch where for a fact you're going to be taken from pillar to post. You're going to be analyzed up and down. I mean, they talk about everything from whatever you did in middle school to your birthday to whatever. I mean, they're looking at it all, astrology, everything. From top to bottom, you will be analyzed. And something about popping on that drug test just has me feel a little bit uneasy. Even though he didn't pop in college for anything, that just makes me feel a little bit uneasy, especially going into this type of draft. I don't think you want to be uneasy. So outside of the injury concerns, that drug test worries me a bit. And so that's why I think getting Trent Williams is vital. And I understand that people are saying, hey, we should have moved to get Trent earlier. I would have liked to have had that done, but now I would look at the Redskins and I would say that price has got to be dropping, baby. It's got to be. There's no way you guys can still be asking for what you were asking for, however many a month ago. There's no way you guys are still asking for that because you've got no buyers. That price has got to be coming down. You've got to start being more realistic so we actually might get him at a better price now than we would have gotten him back then. But Joe Douglas has got to make that move because you got to shore up that left tackle position. And if you get Trent Williams, it allows you to then maybe next year or the year after that to then get your young franchise left tackle because it gives you time. But if you sit at 11 and you don't make that move for Trent and those runner tackles are gone, now you're stuck because you got to go into the second round and hope that Josh Jones or whoever those guys are going to turn out and be, what Trent Williams is or what, any of these other guys are projected to be. And so what we've talked about, various people, there's some up and down opinions on those guys in that second round, that second tier. So we just got to shore that up. So I'm hoping that makes a smart move, man.
And that's what makes, we've dwelled on it a little bit, but it's what makes the Fant signing so weird to me because the more you think about it, the Fant signing makes no sense. Because it didn't really address a need for us. It doesn't. I mean, I don't know enough about him. I just know what I've read and what people have told me. But it's all right. If you give him $8 million a year, whatever, it's $9 million a year. Okay, what are you paying for? Yeah. He's not penciled in as your left tackle. He's not your right tackle. You're not really sure what he is. And now we're talking about spending X amount of dollars on Trent Williams, or we have to trade up assets to get another left. The Fant sign just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. Yeah. And what you just said just there now, Joe, it's this is what kind of worries me a little bit. Listen, I've been wrong a million times, and I don't study the draft. If there's a run offensive lineman early on, which there could be because everybody needs them, at 11, just say we go wide receiver for whatever reason. Then the second round, say we have to trade up to get Josh Jones. If you trade up to get him or whoever it is, name any player it is, are you for sure that guy can start at left tackle? And the answer is probably no. It's probably going to be a project. So then you have a project there, and then you have a project in Fant. So then you got to go sign another guy, whether it's Jason Peters or Beecham or whoever it is. Now you got three. It didn't really address the issue. It's just so weird how that there's a way that could play out where we don't really address left tackle unless it's just the Fant sign just doesn't make any sense to me. The more I think about it, it just bothers me.
Look, and that's why I said that when we at the show after you got signed, I said, I don't know about this man. For all the reasons that you named. I watched that guy, man. He's not good. Like, he's not good. But the way that he's being paid, either we're overpaying depth guys, either that's what we're doing, which, I mean, paying the Jets tax applies to everything. You know what I'm saying? You know, it applies to everything. Backup guys, or you're the last stop. They're like, I'll go anywhere but here. So either you're overpaying for depth guys, or you paid this guy like a starter, which is what they did. So he must be starting somewhere at some point. So I'm thinking, again, this is just my thoughts on Joe Douglas. I don't necessarily agree, again, because I didn't want Fant. But maybe he's thinking I can address left tackle and then put Fant at right tackle, and that might be an upgrade. Or he's thinking, maybe he's hedging his bet, like you said, and saying, okay, well, look, Fant, I'll just put him at right tackle, and then if I miss out on a guy, well, then I'll just, start whatever guy in that second round, third round, the real project guys, I'll just start them at right tackle. Maybe that's what he's thinking.
But is that the right way to build around Sam though? Like this is what pisses me off, and I went off on this on Saturday. Like the whole thing, and this is where I'm gonna get all the negativity again. I don't care, but this is what bothers me the most. Like everybody's preaching, build around Sam, and then it's like we have to get this guy in the draft. We have to get this guy in the draft. You know what you should have did? You should have had a better free agency class. Like you should be getting that better, the high quality free agents to supplement your draft picks, and you don't have to have these panic. Like, to me, there's situations in this draft we could be like, this isn't going the way we want it, and now we're going to be like, all right, we have to give up draft assets to move up to try to get a guy that's most likely a project, and that's not really what you want to do. So, obviously, the Jets fan, we're all going to hope you hope hell one of these top four fall to us at 11. Like, all right, we get the guy, we're good, we move. But if they don't, this draft gets turned upside down for us.
Yeah, and I think that's what the big thing is, because when we talk about project, at least when I'm talking about project, when we talk about project about tackles, we're talking about guys that we're wondering, hey, can they play tackle at this level, period? Now, the difference between, I think, and those top four guys is, the top four guys, you can stick them at right tackle, and we'll think they'll be solid. But we're still wondering, hey, can these guys play tackle at this level, period, after those guys? So we're still wondering about that. But, look, I hear you. I have some questions there. But I think if he does make the trade for Trent Williams, he can kind of clean some of that stuff up, because you can still make moves. And like I said, I've been a big advocate. I know people are going to tweet me about this. It's YoungJ000. I say it at the end of every show. That's why I'm a big advocate for trading Jamal Adams, because if you get rid of him, he's a great player, but we have so many needs. And if you get rid of him, it allows you to address even more needs, and not just this year, but next year's draft as well, because we should get some picks for next year. Hopefully, if he makes a solid trade, we should get some picks for next year as well, and that helps you out tremendously, because then you can go wide receiver. You can really build around Sam the way we should. So I'm looking to see what he does, because like you said, and I've talked about it now as well, that Fant signing really had me looking like, I don't know about this one, man.
Yeah, it's interesting, and the more you think about it, and you're looking at like the different draft options, then it's like, all right. And then I look at the wide receiver thing, and we talked to Jeff Floyd, I talked to Connor on Saturday. It's like, all right, well, what's an Adam Gase, Joe Douglas receiver? Like, what is their mold for the guy they want? Like, you already have a slot guy in Jamison Crowder. You already have him. You have Perriman on the outside. Like, you need another outside guy. You need a versatile guy. Like, we're going to learn a lot just about what their kind of player is, what kind of guys they want in this offense, which will be interesting. Yeah. You know what I mean? We don't even know what they want, what they like.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. I mean, we don't even know what the hell what is an Adam Gase offense? What is it? Actually, who knows?
I have no idea.
But I would hope, that they, like guys, like you said, you want guys that are explosive. But that's why I'm big on Jerry Jeudy. I think his skill set would translate to pretty much any, offense in the NFL. This is a guy that is a tactician. I mean, a route runner. This dude can run every route without a shadow of a doubt. He's precise, his movement, very agile. I mean, he can go. And that's why I like him so much, because we need a guy like him. We need a precise guy. We need a guy that's going to be able to route it up, get open off the break, and then, kind of turn it down when he needs to, so Sam can get him the football where he needs to get him the football. I like Ruggs. I think Ruggs is explosive. I think he's extremely explosive. But I do understand why some people kind of want to stray away from him a little bit. But I think the knocks on him with various people was that he's not a number one guy. Like, he wasn't the number one guy, where he was. It was Jerry Jeudy. And then CeeDee Lamb was the number one guy where he was. And Ruggs was kind of just out there, just be able to just take the top off and just, just blow guys' heads off, just be the Tyreek Hill, the speedster. But I still like him, though. I still like his ability. But I wouldn't take him over a guy like, Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb. I still wouldn't take him over either one of those two guys.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. There are so many, if-then statements for this draft, and it's just like, it's just being that 11th spot, it's just such a, it's like you wish you were like 8 or 9 or, just like a little bit higher. Like, it sucks being there. And then that being 48 is even worse. It's like, whew, a lot of beer.
Well, a lot of beer. I don't think we're in necessarily, I understand we're not in the greatest spot for our greatest need, which is tackle, because there's teams ahead of us that need that. But I don't think we're in, the worst spot, because even if we miss out on that tackle, there's still options for tackle, but we're in a prime spot to get a very solid wide receiver. We're in a prime spot to get one of the best, in this class, period. Whether it be CeeDee, whether it be, Jerry Jeudy, we're in a prime spot because one of those two guys has got to be there, So we'll see what happens. I'm just wondering if a guy like Judica drops or something like that, I'm wondering how that would change our draft board, because I'm hoping that Joe Douglas won't take defense in the first round. Please don't do that. But I'd want to see how he manipulates the situation to get more picks, to maybe make a smart trade down, and still be able to get his guy. So I'd be interested in seeing how he handles that situation.
Yeah, and that was the one rumor going around today. Like a bunch of the analysts were saying, listen, there's a good chance that Okudah drops. I'm just like, do not even play with me. Like, we're not even across this bridge. I'm trying to stay positive. I already get enough hate mail every day. We cannot go down this bridge again. I just can't do it. So it's interesting, man. Yeah. It really is. It's so many things can happen. I don't know. We'll see. It's interesting for sure. I guess as we try to wrap things up a little bit, Saturday night, 8 o'clock, we'll be doing a whole recap of all the drafts to try to get all of that. And then next Tuesday, we'll try to get an analyst on to do a recap, like one of these draft guys, either Connor or Jeff Lloyd. And then Thursday night, I guess at 8 o'clock, we're doing some Zoom stuff. So we're doing our best here to keep things busy. Let's Talk Jets Radio on YouTube, Spreaker, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, Apple Play. We're pretty much everywhere, and we appreciate everybody checking out all our stuff. It's just, we really appreciate it. And Joe, your draft is finally here. We're done arguing it for 3 months. It is your time to shine.
Yes, it is. Listen, I am the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me show you promote our Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search Let's Talk Jets Radio. Like that page. Our concert's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message us. We'll message you right back. We love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also leave some feedback. We love hearing about what you guys think we do here on Let's Talk Jets Radio. I'm also on Twitter as well at YoungJ000. That's 3 zeros. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back. You're going to troll me. No issues. I'm the troll that lives under the bridge. I will have my Darnold jersey on, and I will troll you right back. So again, go ahead and follow me. We can go back and forth. I'm also on YouTube as well at YoungJ00. There's 2 zeros on YouTube, 3 on Twitter. I do videos about the Jets. I talk about the draft. I'll continue to, especially as the draft is coming up, I'll continue to go back and forth with you folks on there as well. So go ahead and subscribe to my content on there as well. You want to troll me on there as well, no issues. I will troll you right back. We can go back and forth. And as always, people, when you see me in person, okay, it is arm. Come on, man. Come on, man. What is going on? Draft week is here. You still hating? You know what I'm saying? You tried to set Steve up. You know what I'm saying? He said he didn't say none of that stuff. You always try to separate me from the people. Always. Like I said, you just tried to separate me from Steve. He told you to shut up. He said what you said was wrong. Prime time tried to. You guys are gonna have separate.
Listen, you're gonna have a separation of friendship there when you hear Steve's comments. We're gonna break that friendship up. You watch.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, get the audio. It better not be doctored up. You know what I'm saying? Don't, because I see you guys doctor up some audio as well. I want crisp, clean, no doctored up audio. And I'm going to hear Steve. And I bet you he's not going to say anything crazy. I know Steve. I stand for him. He's the guy. You know what I'm saying? I stand for all the people. That's why I'm telling them, don't listen to Roush. Don't let him separate me from you folks. I love the people. I'll continue to stand. So when you see me in person, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone, okay? The hugs are absolutely free. They will cost you nothing. Don't listen to Roush. Not a dime out of your pocket. The hugs will remain free. I want to thank you folks for listening. Without you people, we are absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen and call into the show. You folks are the absolute best.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for taking part in our Zoom and all the YouTube stuff. We appreciate it. Thursday night, it all goes down. Thank goodness we survived, and we'll talk to you Thursday, Saturday, and next Tuesday.